It's time for Shawn and Maya in the morning.
Quick pitch to Walter, looking for the record, cuts back, he's got it, he's out of it at 25 to the 26-yard line. Walter Payton becomes the National Football League all-time leading rusher. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship. Chicago has won the Stanley Cup. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it, throw to Rizzo.
It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this TGI Mickey Ficky Friday, baby. It's the weekend, baby. And I'm telling you what, I am fired up. I'm sad. I'm hurting. I want to cry. But you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. All right? I'm not going to do it. You see, I'm repping my guys. I'm repping my guys today after they got eliminated. But you know what? We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But you know what? It's Friday. It's the weekend. It's going to be a little nippy here in the Shy. All right, but you know what? Still, a lot of good stuff going on, and we got to proceed. We got the Bears, we got the Cubs going on. Man, goodness gracious, that hurt yesterday, but you know what? We're going to get into that in a little bit. Guys, I'm your boy, the Superback Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. Now, if you're watching us on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. Now, if you're watching us on YouTube, well, I guess you found us on YouTube. Now, if you don't follow our YouTube page, do me a favor, follow us on YouTube. All right, make sure you download the app. Okay, if you're watching this on the app, then I guess you found us on the app. So make sure you download the app. Make sure you follow us on Facebook. And make sure you follow us on YouTube. We appreciate it. Now, if you want to follow me, just me personally online, want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. Want to know what I did? Here's what I did. I've been nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, the Snapple. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. If you want to follow my lovely co-host, Maya Akai, God bless it, it's burning up on the text line. Want to follow my lovely co-host, Maya Akai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at The Sports Chica. Want to follow her on Instagram because you do it just for the gram, you're an IG, or then just follow her at Maya_Akai. It's MAYA_AKAI. Man, they're coming in early today, Baba. Man, look at them. Vernon, already. Can someone please get a replacement for Ricky El Basura? Oh, so we got more nicknames, huh? So we have La Pantera, who smacked. Oh, he smacked that homer yesterday, 487 feet, the longest home run in the Coliseum. Man, whoo, Charlie. And that's with Mark McGuire and Jose Canseco playing there back in the day on roids, and it's still the longest home run, 487 feet. Whoo, Charlie. Okay, my goodness. So we have La Pantera. We have El Pescado in Eloy Jimenez for getting caught in the net, and now we have El Basura. The garbage, Ricky Venturia. Crazy. Luis Mejia, he texts in, he said, Ricky blew it, but Sox fan forever. Luis, hey, Sox, you got it, baby. Southside Sox forever, baby. Go Sox. And that was a rough one. But let's get to it, guys. Listen, I want to introduce my man behind the curtain. He's the man that makes it all run. He is my Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife, Ivan Vargas. Ivan, what's up, Papa?
What's up, Shawn? It was a tough one yesterday. My bad. Sorry. I was watching. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I had a buddy from Florida, Chris. He hit me up. He's like, dude, he's a Sox fan, and he's like, dude, what the hell's going on? I'm like, I don't know. I was like, this is stupid. Like, this is dumb. From the jump, I thought it was dumb. I thought it was very he was very emotional with his decision making. I felt like he, the game ended up being a high scoring game, and I know Dane Dunning got into trouble in the first, but dog, like, you're gonna have to let him work that out and trust that your bats are gonna pick up 2 runs. You know what I'm saying?
That couldn't be said any better, any more succinctly. We're gonna talk about that, but you know what? Just because you got, and I know it's game 3. I do. I know it's game 3. It's win or go home. but let this kid. I think you might have just crushed his confidence. I think you might have really crushed this kid's confidence. Like, man, dude, you know what I mean? Like, let me get out of it a little bit. You know what? I know. So
First sign of trouble. It was
And then yeah. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit. Whew, man, he got me fired up already. Whew. Hey, listen, Andres Roldan, he said El Basura. He laughed. Hey, Vernon, he laughed at your at your new nickname. Hey, listen, we have a great show for you today. And listen, I am not bull jiving. Listen, at 9 o'clock, he's already in the key. He's waiting. He's backstage, man. He's ready to roll. He is our guy from the Chicago Crusader. That's Joseph Phillips. He's ready to come out and he's ready to give us his take on that game yesterday. But then at 9:45, right around 9:45, Ken Davis takes the baton from Joseph. He's going to rock with me from 10 to 11. At 10 o'clock, Matt Zawoski, Southside Zoe himself, is calling in. We're gonna lament over this. Three Sox fans, me, Kenneth, and Matt. We're gonna lament over this loss from yesterday. We're gonna be mad as a mother Hubbard. Let me tell you, because Matt, he is the host of the Pinwheels on Ivy podcast. So he's gonna call in at 10 o'clock, give us his perspective. Then about 10:45, Jason Palmer is gonna take the baton and run the anchor leg, and he's gonna rock with me from 11 to 12. And at 11 o'clock, JJ Stankovitz from NBC Sports Chicago and the Under Center podcast. He's going to call in. We do have a Bears game on Sunday. The Bears are taking on the Indianapolis Colts. The Bears are going for a 4-0 record, which would be a perfect first quarter of the season. So we're going to talk to JJ Stankovitz. I got a lot of questions for JJ. All right, the new offense. I shouldn't say the new, but a new quarterback running the offense. How is his offense? Is it going to be a new offense? Basically, because now you have a quarterback that fits Matt Nagy's system. You have Matt Nagy's guy. Matt Nagy had a lot. I can guarantee you he had a lot of input in the offseason and going to get Nick Foles. Now you got his guy. So how different is this offense going to look? Is it going to look like it did in that third and fourth quarter when he threw 5 touchdown passes? 2 were called back, or one was a callback. One was intercepted, and the other one was dropped. Technically, it was Anthony Miller. So is this offense going to look like that? We're going to find out. We're going to talk to JJ Stankovitz at 11 o'clock. Make sure you're there. Be there or be square. Well, listen, guys, you know how we do the first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning to you. And these are the hot topics of the night before or just some sports in general. And boy, oh boy, do we have some doozies. And you know what? The Top of the Morning segment is powered by the Chicago Crusader. And with that, we want to bring in our man. He's a sports editor over at the Chicago Crusader. You can find him on Twitter at ACA Joe. Let's bring him in. Joseph Phillips. Joseph, what's up, Papa?
God bless, Papa. Good morning.
How you doing, buddy?
Man, watching this baseball, brother.
Dude, baseball going crazy.
Going crazy, right? I predicted what the Cubs was going to do.
Joseph, I'm officially on the edge with you.
Yes.
Me and you are officially there. Like I'm like, no, he's right. I'm like, he's right. I was going nuts the other day. I was like, the curse of the fish, the bad fish.
They still riding off of that. They're still riding off of that. Like I said, they've been watching this video. Even once they found out they were playing the Cubs, Derek Jeter immediately sent the 2003 video to them. I believe. This is what I believe.
Oh, okay. It hasn't been confirmed. This is what you believe.
Confirmed. This is just what I believe because they don't fear us. You know, they got this attitude like, oh, let's make history again. Part 2. Let's put an end to their era. You know, like that's how they feel. Like, let's put the Cubs away for good. And today they're going to try to do that. I promise.
Hey, is Bartman going to be in the stands today?
Who?
Bartman, is he going to be in the stands today?
Oh, yeah. But
I don't know that, man.
It's even more eerie than that because we have no fans there to stop this. You know?
It's going to be a cardboard cutout. There's going to be a gust of wind, and a cardboard cutout's going to block the ball from
They're going to probably bring a Bartman down out on the field and celebrate.
You know what?
No.
That's crazy. If they have a cardboard cutout of Bartman in his seat from that game.
They'll never do it.
In the dugout.
The Cubs will never do it.
In the Marlins dugout.
They'd have to pay an insane amount of money, and yet I still wouldn't think they'd accept it.
But we're like the last hope for Chicago baseball, though. So let's just hope, you know, we can look out for our little brothers on the south side and hold down the fort, you know?
Well, it's an elimination game for you guys. It's tough. You know, yesterday was tough for us. You know, and here we're going to get into this, you and I, Joseph. Ricky got a lot. He's getting a lot of heat on White Sox Twitter, all up and down social media, and he deserves a lot of the heat, but he doesn't deserve all of it. Okay, when you leave 11 men on base, that's not Ricky Renteria's fault. When you walk 9 batters, 8 batters, 9 batters, that's not Ricky Renteria's fault. Okay, you got to throw strike zones, and I don't give a damn if you're a starter or you consider yourself a starter and you're coming in a clean inning or an ugly in the middle of a dirty inning. I get it; it's not your thing, but God bless it. This is the playoffs, and you have to understand it's different. It's different. I may not agree. I don't agree with a lot of his decisions yesterday, but God bless it, man. You got to get in there, and you have to realize, it's not all flowers and roses, man. This is the playoffs, and it's win or go home. And you have to realize that you're going to be uncomfortable. Okay, you're going to be putting in. This is the number 2 seed in the American League. They're not the number 2 seed for no reason. All right, so I was a little upset with the way some of the guys didn't step up. I'm telling you, if you would have shoved a lump of coal in the ass of some of those guys, they would have came out with a diamond by the end of the time they came off the mound. They were so tight. Understandable, because your first time. But man, as an athlete, you have to thrive, and you have to live for this situation. This is the first time we've been in the playoffs in 12 years. Okay, and for some of these young guys, you got to realize this is the first time you're going to be your first time in the playoffs for many of them, most of them. And I don't understand, from an athletic point of view, from an athlete, from a competitor standpoint, how you can't get fired up, how you can't go, say, hey, I'm going out. If I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose with my best stuff. Not because I was nervous, not because I didn't want this guy to hit a home run against me. You know what? No, that bugged me, and that's a lot. Again, the younger athletes today, the mindset, go get them. Go get him. If you give him your best stuff, and if they beat you on your best stuff, you tip your hat and say, okay, I got to work on my stuff. It happens. But you know what? Renteria deserves a lot of the blame, but at the end of the day, it falls on the players. Again, right. Ricky Renteria did not walk all those people.
Right.
Okay? He did not leave all those people on base.
Right.
That's not Renteria, okay? So I agree. I'm not a big fan. And shoot, let's get right into it, man. That's the first top of the morning topic. The White Sox get eliminated yesterday afternoon, I should say, 6-4, after having a 3-0 lead. That's the thing that killed me, Papa. That killed me. You're up 3. Lewis Robert. Oh my gosh. Oh my! Did that ball come down yet?
That's right.
487 feet.
I mean, that brother, man. I mean, he almost knocked the glass out of the. That's the area I don't even know fans can go into. Like he hit that ball so far. It was unbelievable, brother.
Like I don't know, it got out so far. I mean, it got out so fast and it went so far, and it looked like he was just. And he looked like he flicked the wrist and it just took off. Right. And I was like, oh my God! I was like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? That was unnatural type of power. Like it was freakish power.
He's country strong, brother. Strong.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it, Joseph.
Country strong, man. He got that Josh Gibson type power, man. Like that old school Josh Gibson type power. Like I said, I was impressed with Luis Robert when I found out that he hit a home run and knocked the lights out. So I knew we were in for a big show when he came up to the big leagues. But anyway, back to Kid Ricky. Okay, you remember the movie Lean on Me with Joe Clark and Morgan Freeman?
You used to call me Crazy Joe, now they call me Batman.
So last night you got the cold 10. Get the chains off the door. So this is what happened. Ricky got in trouble last night with the fire marshals. So it was bad news for Ricky. I feel sorry for him. It's just like in the movie Lean on Me with the drug dealer Kid Ray. Like you got yourself into something that you shouldn't have never got yourself into. There it is, Joe Clark, the real Joe Clark and a good Joe Clark, played by Morgan Freeman. But at the end of the day, Kid Ricky, it looked like the moment was too big for him. Like you said, he got nervous. He started making moves that most experienced managers wouldn't have made. You see what I mean? This is why I thought that the Sox should have added a third starter, because they could have took pressure off of him if they were in a game 3 like they were yesterday. Now, I believe the Sox lost the series in game 2. That's what I thought, because you guys had the momentum going into game 2. And Dallas Keuchel, I don't know what happened, but it happens to the best of them. You know, Oakland came out and they set the tone. They were the aggressor. I don't know if that you have to attribute that to the manager or attribute that to the players, because the players have to be ready. The way that you guys came out like game busters in game 1, game 2 should have been like, I'm putting you guys away. That's the mentality that the Sox should have had. But for some reason, Oakland just kept fighting. You know, like they didn't go away. Like,
but see, Joseph, that I agree with that mentality, but you got to have everybody on board. Everyone's got to have that mentality,
right?
You know what I mean? And it not majority, not 9/10 of the players. Everybody's got to have that mentality, and a lot of them don't know how to put people away. Okay, that comes from here. That comes from here. Okay, and it was frustrating to see that, but I'll tell you what it was experience, because I guarantee you that's not going to happen again, because the White Sox were the better team.
Right,
the White Sox were definitely the better team, and they allowed Oakland a chance in the game 2. They took it. They got on top of them yesterday, and then they let them come back. Yeah, I mean, Oakland's, again, they're the number 2 team in the American League. Okay, and again, they didn't get there for a reason. Right. So you can't. They're professionals. They have pride as well. So right. You have to. The thing is, you have to make them quit. You have to stomp the life out of them when your foot's on their throat. You cannot let up, and the White Sox did. Okay, Ricky Renteria. You know what bugged me is this. Is he kept in the post game presser, he kept well, first of all, he was badgered by the relievers questions, okay, which I think was fair and warranted, okay. And my thing with him was this: like, look, if you got to give him 2 innings, all right. You're not going to go down 7-0, okay, because you're gonna nip it in the bud first. So you're not going to get down 7-0, okay, with this guy. Give this guy some confidence, because I'm telling you, his confidence is shot. And 2, if you're going to go pull the trigger quickly, why not start Garrett Crochet?
Right.
Why not start that dude? Because they got no film. They got a couple of innings of film on him.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they don't know what he does his body of work is so small, you can't really get a gauge. You know, it's tough enough to get a gauge to this 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Okay, and an 85-mile-an-hour changeup or a slider. Mm-hmm. You know, and then you got, you know what I mean? So if you then give him 3 innings, boom, you got 3 innings. And that's it, you know, right. And he should have stuck to that early, because you have the offense that can come back. You have the offense. Tim Anderson, we're going to talk about him in a second. Tim Anderson on fire, leading the way. Yo Moncada woke up a little. Jose Abreu,
right? Okay,
Luis Robert, man,
right?
Everything Ricky said was like, well, we talked about this. Yeah, you can talk about it. But managing and coaching is a feel.
Right.
Okay? It's a feel. You may get a certain situation, you may have written it down and say, okay, if this happens, then we're doing this. But when you get to that point, it feels different because it didn't happen the way you thought it would happen.
Right.
Like if it was say it was he scores 2 runs and we're pulling them. What if those runs are on errors? What if he's striking guys out, but those runs are on errors? So now you're like, okay, well, if he gets down 2-0, we say we're going to pull him, but it's not his fault. He's pitching well.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's how they get to that specific point. And Ricky, as soon as something happened, boom, we got to go. We got to get out. And that showed his inexperience as a playoff manager. Okay, and that screwed us big time. That was his part.
He tried to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He hit the panic button I thought way too early. Like I was saying earlier, Shawn, it was just like, why not let him work it out? And like you said, if he gets into trouble, if they hit him hard and he's down 2-0, then go ahead and pull him. But you have the team that's able to hit home runs like in a blink of an eye. You know what I'm saying? They're able to score quickly. So 2 runs is not that big of a deal to me. 2 runs I would consider 2 runs I look at as 1 run to the White Sox, because they could score that quick. Yeah. I just thought Ricky hit the panic button way too soon, and instead of letting Dane Dunning continue on and maybe finding some confidence, getting some guys out, getting some rhythm, even if he gives up a couple runs and you mark, let's say you yank him after 3 2/3 or something like that, 4, and the lead is still, or the game is still within reach, 1 or 2 runs, right? Right. You have the team to put up runs. You scored 6 runs. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You scored 6 runs. They scored 8 runs. But my point is, you have the team to do it. Why did you go ahead and deplete your bullpen like this? It was gone like this, and that's when he had nobody else. That's when he had to let them go ahead and try to work through it. He couldn't make the other move. He couldn't make the other move. He was trying to go to Cease. Why didn't you go to Cease right away?
Right. He tried to put up.
Here's what I thought. Here's my thought. And that's where he jagged it. All right. If you're gonna bring a guy in, don't bring a starter in. Okay. Don't bring a starter in. Okay. When you pull Dane Dunning, don't bring a starter in. Okay. Because they're starters. They start a clean inning. Okay. They start a clean. That's what starters are. That's what they do. Okay. It's a different mindset when you come in and there's 2 men on base, there's a man on base. So instead of thinking at Crochet, because although he's been in
it's not a dig at Crochet. It's not a dig at Crochet. It's saying who came after Crochet. My guy would have been Cease.
But what I'm saying is first of all, I wanted there. We're not digging at Crochet, and it's unfortunate he left, and that screws people up. That screws people up.
Hey guys,
and here's the one thing that they were saying that I thought right away when they said elbow tightness or forearm tightness. Mm-hmm. I got really concerned because they said a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times that leads to Tommy John. I'm like, oh man, dude, don't tell me this guy, So it's not Tommy John, okay, but they said oftentimes that does lead to it. So I'm saying if you're gonna bring in Aaron Bummer, okay, bring in Jace Fry, bring in a guy who's used to coming in the middle of a dirty inning, not a starter. You know what I mean? You could have put, and then you could have started Crochet in the second inning or the third, you know what I mean? And get him a nice clean inning to start, give him, and eat some innings up. Ricky, the decisions Ricky Renteria made yesterday were fireable offenses, and he might not make it this offseason. Armando Lara III just said I was talking about playing small ball at points. Yeah, why not? Why not? Because you know what you were saying, or I was saying that put pressure on the defense. Put pressure on the defense. Okay, in this game, there's pressure on the White Sox because they're young and they're trying to get there. There was also a slew of pressure on the A's because they hadn't won a winner go home series since 1973. Right. We're talking 47 years. They haven't won a winner go home game.
Reggie Jackson was still on the team.
Reggie Jackson was still on the team. So the pressure on that franchise was immense. Don't think they didn't know that either. So you got to understand that, and you need to put pressure on them with small ball. Get Tim Anderson on base. Bunt Adam Engel. Bunt Lewis Robert. You know what I mean? And get guys on. Get them over. Get them in. And it just frustrated me that they didn't use all the weapons, all the weapons in their arsenal.
So there was one revenge factor that you have to attribute to the Oakland A's that was in their lineup, who was a former White Sox, and that was Marcus Semien. Okay. Now he know how the Sox treated him and how they got rid of him. So his mentality, he probably is thinking, telling his Oakland A's buddies, like, look, man, let's embarrass them. Let's send them home. You see what I mean? Like, I watched the way he was playing yesterday. Marcus Semien. He was playing with a certain intensity like no other. And I don't know if it's because of what the Sox did to him in the past or how they got rid of him. I don't know if he felt that the Sox gave up on him too soon. But it looks like yesterday he had that team fired up, ready to go. These last 2 games, fired up and ready to go. Now, I know you guys probably won't think Marcus Semien played a big part in that, but I think by him being a former White Sox, he felt that he needed to stick it to you guys because y'all got rid of him. You see what I mean? He could have been a part of that.
Well, he had a home run in the series, so I think he actually did play a major part. Another move that I thought was just like, why was Eloy even in the game? Like, in my opinion, if you got Eloy and he's hurt, You use that guy in a situation late in the game where you got runners on and you're down by 1 or 2, and you need a big bat to scare the living daylights out of the pitcher, and you march Eloy up there. But guess what? You couldn't do it because he singled early in the game and got hurt again and re-aggravated whatever injury he had. I just thought there was things that Ricky did that were just – it was desperate. Desperate, to say the least.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it was desperate. And it is – go ahead, Joe. It is unfortunate.
I was just saying it's just unfortunate. Like I said, I thought the Sox should have dominated in game 2. That's all I thought. But once I realized that Keiko didn't do his job, I had a feeling that, I was like, man, it's going to be up in the air from here because you guys had them. Y'all had them on the ropes. Like, y'all had them. All y'all had to do was just finish them off. And for some reason, that game 2 affected how you guys played in game 3. Like,
well, let's not get it twisted. The A's, they I don't know if they were I'm trying to remember the stat. They were the top team, or they're in the top. Put it this way: they're in the top 3 teams of scoring from the 7th inning on, just like the White Sox.
Right.
So that's a team that you have to worry about. Holding them down. It's not a team that doesn't score late in games. This is a team that does. So it was going to be a battle. So yeah, holding them down, that was easier said than done, and that's why you had to make sure that you had that back end set up. You had Colomé for the 9th. And then who's your setup guy for the 8th? You know what I mean? You have to have the 8th and the 9th have to be set. Even if Colomé comes in the 8th for a 4-out save, that has to be set. Just get to the 8th inning. Get to the 8th inning, and then you can go from there because you have the 8th and the 9th inning locked down. And Colomé in this series, well, all year, the last 2 seasons for the White Sox has been just lights out. So you know what you got there, and Ricky just did a bad job. Again, I'm not putting it all on Ricky. Okay, I am not. He has his share of the blame to that he's got to deal with. But you have 11 runners left on base for the White Sox. 11. All right, 9 base on balls by Sox pitchers. Come on, man. 9. So I will tell you this. And I feel for Matt Foster. He walked in those 2 runs, okay, with the bases loaded. Hopefully for him and for the White Sox, that was a learning experience because that just can't happen. You can't walk guys. You got to throw strikes, okay? You have 7 guys behind you. Let them do their job.
Shawn,
you can't just go. You got to pound, and this is the mentality I'm talking about. You got to pound that strike zone. And if you're nibbling and trying to get the calls, because let's not even get into the umps, because that strike zone again was just unbelievable. It moved from batter to batter, from pitcher to pitcher. But you got to pound that strike zone. And I think that Matt Foster was too busy nibbling and trying to be Greg Maddux and hitting the corners, and that screwed him, and that screwed the White Sox.
I think that there was a unnecessary pressure brought on by the manager. That's what I think. I think the manager panicked. The team saw what the manager was doing, and the team panicked. And then everybody else after Crochet, they had to be perfect because they you know what I'm saying? They pretty much had to be perfect because you didn't want to go ahead and blow a lead because all of a sudden the Sox weren't hitting. After 3 runs, they weren't getting, they didn't accumulate anything till later on. But it was like you put so much pressure on these young pitchers to get it done. Like it just didn't make sense. It seemed like Ricky brought this upon his team.
I'm okay with the pressure, Ivan. I'm okay with putting
on some young guys in an elimination game.
I'm okay
no proven.
I'm okay with it, but let them work it out. Don't because everyone's going to struggle. All right, did you expect a perfect game from Dane Dunning? No, he's going to give up hits, but don't pull him out. Okay, don't pull him out when that happens because that set the tone for that panic that you're talking about, Ivan. Set the tone. That's exactly
what I'm saying.
Tone. So you can Dane Dunning in there and you go. He comes out. He gets out of the first inning with giving up a run or 2. You come over and say, "Hey, good job, keep it up. I need you to keep pounding that strike zone." So now you give him confidence. not take him out and shatter his confidence like you did yesterday.
He came out like a man on fire. He ran out of that dugout like a man on fire. He was just like, let's go. Come on. Like, no.
Ricky shit the bed.
Like Ricky, oh my God. Like, really? It's the second inning.
They should have started doing
I'm sorry, the first inning.
They should have
started second batter.
Hey guys, they should have started Dylan Cease. Okay, like
I don't know if I agree with you.
I would have started Dane Dunning myself, but I would have left him.
Let me say this, okay?
Hey Joe, do me a favor. Hold up. We're gonna start with starting Dylan Cease. We gotta take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we have more top of the morning topics. Don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone, Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. The Marlins and Cubs were rained out on Thursday. They'll square off this afternoon in Game 2. Miami leading the series 1-0. Yu Darvish gets the nod. The Cubs with their backs against the wall in the best of 3. The season's come to an end for the White Sox.
Pinder, it's a drive in. It's going to be into left field for a base hit. One run is in. Second run around third. The throw to the plate in the slide and not in time. Listella scores.
A's radio at the call. 6-4 the final on Thursday. Oakland wins the series 2-1. Bears wide receiver Allen Robinson told ESPN that he trusts the coaching staff to make the right decisions. This following the news that Nick Foles takes over as starting quarterback.
For us, we believe in Coach Nagy. We always have. So whatever decision he make, as a team, we support it. We're gonna rock with it.
Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so when you call 833-8-ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 833-8-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Welcome back, Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. Right before the break, we're talking White Sox, baby. And right before the break, Joseph, you said you would start Dylan Cease, and I was like, no. And you're like, yeah.
I know y'all getting heated over there. You and Ivan. I was like, yeah. I know y'all heated right now.
But. I am, Papa. I am. I'm hurt, man.
I'm heated. I didn't have a dog in that race, but I'm heated for you guys because I told Shawn, have I not said this time and time again? Like, Ricky is not the guy. I don't care what they were saying. Ricky was not the guy from the jump. He's about to get maddened again. So it's not like you have to worry very much, too much longer. I would hope, but it never set right with me that Ricky Renteria was a manager of this team.
Yeah. So
you're talking about why you thought Dylan Cease should start, and you know what? And Jason Palmer also said he texted in and said Cease should have started. So you know what? Talk to me, Papa. Why do you think Dylan Cease should have started?
All right, it goes back to the trade deadline. Okay, when the Sox did not add a third starter to that rotation, and I would have to say when it comes to experience, and even though I know he struggled against the Cubs in that last weekend series, I thought that he was most ready for that moment to redeem himself. You see what I mean? If there was a game 3 versus putting a rookie in that situation where there was a small margin of error, especially against a high contact team like the Oakland A's. So it ended up coming back to bite Ricky Renteria because he ended up doing what Joe Madden did in Game 7. He was trying to do too much. You see what I mean? Versus just allowing the team to just flourish and then allowing your starters just to carry you. He was put in a situation where he was forced to coach. If you had a Game 3 starter, you wouldn't have to do all of that. You see what I mean? You wouldn't have to bring in a bullpen guy here and a bullpen guy there, or worry about if the rookie if this moment was too big for this rookie. You see what I mean? And that's what I was talking about earlier in the season. I was telling you in my eyes, like, yeah, you can probably put Dane Donnie in that 3 spot, but I didn't think he was ready for that situation. I would have seen him more in a relief spot, the close out guys or long relief, to get out like hard batters, like hard left-hand batters or hard right-hand batters. I wouldn't have put him as a 3rd starter because that's just too much pressure in a 60-game season. You see what I mean? So I would have put Cease in the lineup, win or lose. I would have put him in the lineup because you didn't go out and get Clevenger. So therefore, this is who you're stuck with. You have to go with the guys that got you there. And it came back to bite him yesterday, unfortunately. And now we have to talk about what Ricky should have did and what he shouldn't have done. You see what I mean? So it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. And again, my thought, even if I would have made it a complete bullpen game, okay? And you tell Dane, hey, Dane, you're going 2 innings, okay? So I don't want you to get any lures of grandeur, okay? You're going 2 innings. I need you a solid 2 innings, okay? Then you go to Crochet, or then you go to Dylan Cease. You're going for 2 innings, okay? You're going 3 and 4, okay?
Do you know Cease numbers against the Oakland A's last year? Do you know Cease numbers against the Oakland A's lineup last year?
No, I don't.
Okay, so I don't know if we know the numbers, and I don't know if Ivan can get that. But if you would have looked at the numbers, because I know that Dane Dunning has never faced the Oakland. I don't think he ever faced the Oakland A's lineup. So he's actually haven't faced most major league teams. He hasn't had enough experience to go around to see what's his strengths and weaknesses, what he needs to adjust to, like most first-year pitchers have to go through. Like, this wasn't a 162-game season, so he kind of faced the same opponents multiple times. You see what I mean? So that's not fair to him as a rookie to put him in a situation like that versus a Dylan Cease who may have faced Oakland last year and may have had success against them. You see what I mean? That's all.
Yeah, I hear you. And I'll put it this way: if he did face them last year, he wouldn't have faced them more than twice if he faced them, because they only play, with the West Coast, East and West Coast division teams. They play one series home, one series on the road. So it depends on where he fell, if he was injured at that time and skipped the start or whatever. So it wasn't a big body of work against A's. Because remember, last year was really Dylan Cease's first year up as well. So Tim Anderson becomes the first player in Major League history to get three hit games in their first 3 games, his first 3 postseason games. This guy was struggling a little bit toward the end of the season. He was really struggling. He lost the batting title to DJ LeMahieu over in New York. And I was concerned about Tim Anderson. And you talk about a guy who understands the moment and relishes the moment. That's a dude right there who relishes that moment. Okay, Tim Anderson had 3 consecutive 3-hit games. That's insane. That is just strictly insane. And this is the type of play is what really makes him, why you see why he was in the All-Star or in the MVP conversation for a while. This guy is just amazing. This guy is amazing. And for me, I love it because you need somebody. When you go to the playoffs for the first time in a long time, none of these guys, or the majority, only 5 guys that have playoff experience on that roster. You need somebody to step up big time. Tim Anderson stepped up big time. You can't step up bigger than 3 hits each of those 3 games. My man, he is turning into a bona fide superstar. And if it wasn't for those God blessed, boring and horrible announcers on ESPN, and we had a little more excitement on there, people might actually have noticed even more. But those guys are horrible, and Tim was outstanding for those 3 days.
Yeah, shout out to Timmy. Amazing leader, amazing hitter. His hits for average, singles, triples, doubles. Still bases. What more can you ask for than the captain and a leader like Tim Anderson? But the sad part is, I wanted to see more of him this postseason. Like if they would have won Game 2, man, I would have been looking forward to seeing Tim Anderson continue his history. It probably would have extended to what he did it in the first 3 games, right? Three games. Man, I would like to extend it to 4 or 5 games. Like that's an amazing feat. But unfortunately, like I said, when it comes to coaching and that lack of that number 3 starter, it put the Sox in the bind, unfortunately, But shout out to Tim Anderson, who's always held it down from day one, with the White Sox,
He's an A1 day one. You know what? And the thing about it is he got so much flack for being just an athlete. Okay, because remember, Tim Anderson was a basketball player.
Yeah.
He was a hooper.
Yeah.
He was a hooper, and he didn't start playing baseball until sophomore, junior year in high school, something like that. Right. And that's because one of his boys said, "Hey, we need help on the team."
yeah, he's good, man.
You know what I mean? So this is a guy who was a freak of an athlete and really hadn't picked up the nuances of being a shortstop.
Right.
And then you had Yoel Moncada, remember? Because Tim was up first, and Tim was playing shortstop. But the thing I loved about Tim, and the reason I respect him so much, is every year he worked and got better. Every year he got worked and he got work, or every year he got better by working hard. Okay, and then you talked about him. Yeah, so now he's a good defensively, but at the plate. So what does he do? He just goes out and wins the batting title last year, and then comes in second in the batting title this year. Right. So you're like, okay, well, this guy is really, really done. And so for me, my respect for Tim as a player is going through the roof because of the fact that he worked on his game. Now, if he could just work on the routine ground balls and get a 99% percentage completion, we're good. You know what I mean? We're good. But other than that, this kid's a superstar. He's fiery. He's the heart and soul of this team. And this team it was this year when he was out. This year when he was out, that level was flat. The energy was down. And that's when Keuchel had to say, "Hey, listen, we got to step it up." And it just so happened to be right when Tim Anderson came back, and man, they went on a roll.
Right. And he's their leader, like I said. As Tim Anderson goes, so does the team goes. Just like what Dexter Fowler was with the Cubs in 2016. As Dexter goes, the rest of the lineup goes. So he's the table setter. But like I said, I believe next year you guys are gonna go all the way. I had y'all going this year, but
Ricky said, "Hold my beer."
Yeah, like I said, I was one move away from going all the way, and that was adding that third start.
Ricky
brings credence to your point about, and you even made this as well, is going to get that number 3 starter.
Mm-hmm.
That really made that, So I'm okay that we didn't, okay, because what you just did to, you may have, and we're not going to find out till later. What you did with Dane Dunning. Like, did you crush his confidence as a rookie, or did you light a fire under his ass where he's like, "Man, I'm pissed." So I don't know what type, and I don't know Dane Dunning very well because it's his first year here, and we haven't seen a lot of them. But hopefully, as a competitor, I'd be pissed off like a son of a gun, boy. If you took me out, if I got taken out because of that, and if that situation arises again, like I'm coming in I'm looking at Cy Young next year. That's my goal. Okay, you might not reach it, but that's the mentality I have to have. Like, I need to be elite. He took me out 2 batters into a first playoff game. Bump that. Watch this. And that's the kind of attitude that I hope he has and he takes with him into the offseason. Because if that's the attitude that he has going into the offseason, guess what? Now you got Giolito. Now you got Keuchel. Now you got Dunning. Now you got Kopech coming back.
Right.
Okay. Now you have Garrett Crochet as well, who gained a little bit of experience in the playoffs as well, as long as it's his his UCL is holds up. Oh man, I'm really nervous about that forearm tightness. Yeah. So you're going to have. I'm interested to see how this is going to affect Dane Dunning. How is he going to respond? Okay, because that was as a professional. You play baseball, Ivan. How would you feel? You got taken out 2 pitches,
that's
2 batters into the playoff game.
It pissed me off. Depending on, like you said, how those batters got on, depending on how I was looking, where my location was, my control, everything like that. It depends. But if it was something where I was like, man, I feel good, I feel like I can work out of it. The guy, a seeing eye single, and the guy, singled again. You know what I'm saying? Like, just if it was weak singles and that was it with weak contact, let him pitch out of it. See what he could do the rest of the way. But he didn't. He panicked and he burned his bullpen.
Right, and that's all comes with inexperience. That's what I said. You needed veteran leadership in a situation like this. And then, in addition to that, I wanted to ask you, Shawn, who would be a good number 3 starter? Y'all can add free agency and I know you're going to say Kopech or probably one of those guys, but would you like to add a veteran number 3 starter to your lineup, and who would it be?
I would like a veteran starter. I don't know who's out there. I don't know who's out there right now coming in 21, because if I knew that, here you go, free agent pitchers. Let me see the top free agents. And you're gonna have to spend some money, but I don't know if the White Sox are willing to spend money right now. Right. Okay, because you have a slew of talented pitchers with Dunning,
Trevor Bauer,
with Cease, with Kopech coming back, with Garrett Crochet. Dude, that's 4 right there. You only need 3. Okay. Right. Do you want to go get one of those guys and leave Garrett Crochet back in the minors? Okay, because for me, there's no reason to be. First of all, I wouldn't even put Garrett Crochet as a starter. I'm putting him in the bullpen. Right. You know what? You're like sending him back to the minors is pointless. It's pointless. That's
Jose Quintana will be available next year.
Y'all can have it.
I'm just saying. Oh, but a guy that truly should be a thought, Trevor Bauer.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Trevor Bauer in that? Like that'll be the most feared, starting rotation, I would think. Whoever the hell you put up, at least the top 3.
He looked like he could be a White Sox too. Like he could be one of the White Sox.
Yeah, he looks like he could be a White Sox.
Got that quirky behavior.
He's got that attitude.
Yeah, White Sox outside attitude. Like screw you and all this. I'll throw the ball.
Yeah, sausage.
Yeah,
the game. He threw the ball into the stands.
He could have hurt somebody though.
I know.
Yeah, I'm trying to. You see who the top free agents are going to be coming in at the end of the season?
I was listing them off right now. Trevor Bauer, Jose Quintana, pitching wise, Mike Minor, Robbie Ray, Tijuan Walker, Masahiro Tanaka, Shawn Green.
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with Trevor Bauer at all. I love that dude. Yeah. I mean, and Jason he brought it in. He said we gave Encarnacion $12 million. He didn't do jack spit for us.
You need to. What I would say is that the pitcher should be the number 1, but you need to go ahead and move. Like Mazzara needs to. You got to find somebody else. Like
we got someone. His name's Adam Engel.
I mean, I still would. I don't know. I would go ahead and look to get another big bat. That's just me. Or get rid of Encarnacion. I think Encarnacion was
it's a 1-year deal. Too. He's gone. It's a 1-year deal.
Oh, he's gone. All right, cool. All right, well then that's good. So like you have a free, you got freed up. I think I like the youth, especially with the hitting, but that pitching, I think you need to go get one more. Like me and all 3 of us were talking about with trading, and we were talking about trading Kopech for was it Clevenger or some type of whatever package to get a guy like a Clevenger. And you could tell that was necessary. That would have put them over the edge, over the top. I think with a 3-run lead, and a guy that Ricky doesn't have to panic over. I mean, obviously Dane Dunning's young, but if you're going to go ahead and trust that the young guy out there to start, then you better go ahead and leave him until it's like, okay, we can't anymore.
I think.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think Ricky is good at managing personalities versus being an X's and O's coach. You see what I mean? Like Ozzie was more a tactician. Ozzie knew how to make adjustments as the game was going on. Like he knew how to one up guys. You see what I mean? So my thing is Ricky, he's kind of like that nice uncle, you know, that let everybody play around. You'll pay attention to him. You'll be like, okay, I'm going to watch you guys until your parents get back home. And then once they get back home, I'll get my money and I'll see you next week. You see what I mean? That's their attitude, you know. So Ricky is not an X's and O's guy. He's more of he likes to manage personalities. But when it comes to winning a World Series, you know, it's not you can't do that type of stuff. You got to have those X's and O's. You have to have those X's and O's ability to strategically counter other coaches. And he didn't show that over this 3-game series. He actually got out-coached and he got outsmarted. So,
yeah, he did. Well, let's move on. Next topic, morning topic. The Cubs face an elimination game today over on the north side at the friendly confines. Man, you got your boy He's got to do it. Yu Darvish is on the mound for the Cubs, and he has to kind of break through and show why he is the ace of the squad. He's pitching like a Cy Young Award conversation this year, and he needs to come up with a big game for you guys to force a game 3 tomorrow. So, you know, first of all, they postponed yesterday's game.
Thank God.
They postponed yesterday's game due to rain. But Ivan was like, I was talking to Ivan before the show, and he was like, "What is this? It's crazy." And I was like, "No." I said, "It's a money thing." I said, "You got to remember, cash rules everything around me. Crean, get the money, dollar bill, y'all." And if say the game was yesterday, okay, and the Cubs would have lost yesterday, okay, there's all this series would have been over. So there'd be no baseball on Friday, no baseball on Saturday. And I'm not sure Sunday if they're starting Monday, but those are 2 days that you just can't have, that you can't go without having baseball. So they're hoping that the Cubs win today. So the Cubs are they'll be the main event today. Then there'll be the main event tomorrow. They can put them in prime time, you know, for ratings, for money, for advertisers. So it's just a money game. It's all it is, a money game. And, you know, hopefully the Cubs come through for you guys and force a game 3 tomorrow. But again, Yu Darvish has got to step up. Those bats have got to step up. Javi. I mean, you just go to those names, man, like Javi, Bryant, Rizzo, Schwarber, Hayward, Happ. Those guys got to step up big time and put some runs on the board for Yu Darvish. Because if you give Yu Darvish a 2 or 3 run lead, I think it's a wrap.
No. Because because I thought that with the professor as well, and then it just so happened that and honestly, the win aided home runs, a couple of win aided home runs, but they got out. It is what it is. I'm not going to go sit here and pout about it. It happened, but that's how thin of a margin it is. Like something like that could happen. That's how small of a window you have for failure. And I think today will be Yu Darvish's defining game. I think Yu Darvish knows that this is his first time back.
Right.
This is his first time back. So when you got that, you showing up to Wrigley today, I think Yu Darvish's mind is 100% in this ball game. I wouldn't be surprised if he's completely drained after the game, because I'm sure he's going to go ahead and make sure that the Cubs live to see another day. I just hope the Cubs bats come through. If they drop Chris Bryant and they drop Baez in the lineup. Bryant's hitting 5th, and I think Baez is at 7. David Ross isn't playing no games.
Right.
Produce now, because this is it. We're not. If the Cubs lose this and they get swept in a 3-game series, even though I guess you could say swept, but if they lose this, the last 3 playoff games at Wrigley have been losses, and the Cubs would be. I have not advanced since 2017, so that's what, 4 years, 3 years, 4 years. Haven't advanced past the first round or a wild card round. Something's got to change. If that's the case, and they've been saying it, the writing's been on the wall. They could shake everything up. They will if they lose this game today.
Well,
they have to. Go ahead, Joe.
Here's the deal, and I'm just gonna be honest. Like I did, like I was before game 1. There's a small margin of error for the Cubs. Like if you beat our most intelligent pitcher and made him look bad and humiliated him like that.
He pitched a good game though, Joseph.
Yeah,
he pitched a good game. He just he ran into bad luck. The ball should have been in the yard still, and it pushed out enough to squeak out on the fence. It wasn't his fault.
Well, what I'm saying is that when you have an offense that's inconsistent like the Cubs, a good game is not good enough. Okay,
I agree.
You have to pitch a great game. And there was another level in Cal Hendricks' arsenal where I saw in the 7th inning he got a little complacent.
Mm-hmm.
And once he started getting lazy and complacent, and I thought that his focus was a little bit stronger than that, but I saw him get a little complacent with throwing the ball over the plate. And I didn't like that because it kind of like and I'm not saying that it's his fault because he did pitch 106 pitches, threw 106 pitches or something like that. But this is the playoffs. You got to go all out. You see what I mean? Like you have to have that no-hitter mentality on your mind if you're going that far in the game. You cannot give them anything to hit. He gave them an opportunity to score. That's it. Once you let your guards down, that's it. And I said that on Monday. I said the Cubs, if once you get complacent, the Marlins are going to take advantage of it. When you're playing against teams like this that's hungry, who understands history, they have no-name guys in their batting lineup. If you throw down the middle, which is what happened, throw it down the middle, and you thinking that, this is about to be a strike. No, it's out of the ballpark. Because
Joseph, he hit a spot. The guy hit it out of the ballpark. He was dominating the pitchers throughout the game. The guy just got lucky that the wind pushed it out. The ball should have still been in the yard. He didn't get dominated or embarrassed. I think he threw a bad pitch. I thought he should have went back to the changeup. He threw a fastball that just hung over the middle of the plate, and the guy got enough of it that the wind could be able to carry it out. I don't even think he got the whole thing. The ball barely got out of the yard.
But Dickerson hits well against us. Like when he played for Pittsburgh, he was doing that to us. Okay, so we should have knew about that matchup coming in. We should have knew about that. What I'm saying is that any sign of complacency is going to send us home quickly. You see what I mean? This is a veteran team. You cannot be complacent. No innings, no at-bats, no pitches, no complacency. The only way they'll win today, they have to go perfect throughout the 9 innings. As soon as they get relaxed today, it's over for us. I'm concerned about you, Darvish. I love him, don't get me wrong. But like Maya and said, he get into these playoff situations, start walking guys, start being concerned about the weather, and then you got the batters who are not backing you up. That puts a lot of pressure on the pitcher. And then you got the Florida Marlins who can care less about what we're concerned about and who can care less about winning or losing. What I'm saying is that they don't fear us. You see what I mean? So they already feel that the pressure is on the Cubs. It's not on them. So today, like I thought that they were going to do on Wednesday, they're going to have to send a message. Us, the fans, we only can do so much. Players got to go out there and play.
Hey, Joseph, we got to let you go, Papa. So we got to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we got our guys coming in. So, hey, great stuff, Papa. We will see you on Monday. For your sake, hopefully the Cubs can make it. Can extend the game 3 and then pull it out tomorrow. Hey, we will see you on Monday, Papa. Thanks again. We appreciate it.
All right. God bless.
All righty. Hey, guys, we got to take a quick break. So on the other side of the break, we got to bring our guy, Kenneth Davis. He's backstage. He's ready to grab the baton from Joseph. Sit with me from the 10 to 11 o'clock hour. And our guest coming up at 10 o'clock, is our man Southside Zoe himself, Matt Zawoski, talking White Sox. So there'll be 3 White Sox fans. There's going to be a big bitch fest coming up. All 3 of us are going to be yelling at this whole thing. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. The Marlins and Cubs were rained out on Thursday. They'll square off this afternoon in Game 2. Miami leading the series 1-0. Yu Darvish gets the nod. The Cubs with their backs against the wall in the best of 3. The season's come to an end for the White Sox.
Pinder, it's a drive in. It's going to be into left field for a base hit. 1 run is in. Second run around third. The throw to the plate in the slide and not in time. Listella scores.
A's radio at the call. 6-4 the final on Thursday. Oakland wins the series 2-1. Bears wide receiver Allen Robinson told ESPN that he trusts the coaching staff to make the right decisions. This following the news that Nick Foles takes over as starting quarterback.
For us, we believe in Coach Nagy. We always have. So whatever decision he make, as a team, we support it. We're gonna rock with it.
Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so when you call 833-8ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 833-8ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago on his TGI Mickey Ficky Friday. It's the weekend, baby. It's a sad one for us Sox fans. Hey, we want to bring in our guy real quick. He's going to sit with me for the 10 to 11 o'clock hour. He is a good friend of the program, and he's from That Davis Show, and you can find him on Twitter at That's Davis. Guys, bring him on, Ken Davis. Ken, what's up, Papa? How are you?
What's going on?
Practicing, baby.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's not a good day, man. It's I'm hurting. I'm hurting. I'm there's a good part and a bad part to it. You know what I'm saying? But you got to check with this. Are we supposed to do some Cubs talk? You better give me some Bears and some basketball. You Sox, dude. I need because you talking about this weekend. F this weekend. All right. All right. Like man. Oh man. But go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Well, we're gonna bring in our next guest. Like I said, it's gonna be 3 Sox fans. It's gonna be the next 15 minutes or so. He is co-host of the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. You can find him on Twitter at Southside Zoe. Guys, let's bring him on. Matt Zawoski. Matt, what's up, Papa? How are you?
What's going on, guys? How you doing today?
Good, man. Both you came on like, man, dude.
I'm good. I'm really good, actually. I'm in high spirits today.
Oh, it's because you think this is the end now because it was so bad this series, so you're in high spirits because of that?
You think it's time for Ricky to go?
I just think that if the front office can't see the glaring needs at pitching left-handed bat in right field after what we just watched in that 3-game series, I don't know what to do. I can't help them then because the whole world saw it. You got reporters in Asia saying the White Sox need starting pitching. Like it's what it is now, and hopefully this is going to be the push that they needed to go out and make some big moves.
So do you take a run at Trevor Bauer? He's a free agent this year, and you don't have to worry about packaging any or losing any of your prospects. You go out and get him because remember before the trade deadline, Mike Clevenger was on the market, and apparently a big package was wanted for him because he would have stayed in the Central, and Cleveland didn't really. The only way Cleveland was going to give him up is if they got a lot. And Ivan and Ivan was a big proponent of it. Hey, go get him, because that solves your number 3 problem, or your number 3 starter. and we had a problem with our number 3 starter.
Yeah, we don't have one.
That's a good process. That's a problem.
It was a blessing in disguise though with Clevenger, because I never root for injuries, hate injuries in all aspects of sports. Injuries are the worst, but there's no really nice way to say it. His arm fell off. I mean, they're talking he's done for 2 years. So could you imagine White Sox fan base if they put together this huge prospect package for Mike Clevenger and he throws 2 games and then his arm falls out of the socket?
No.
It would be chaos. And so we did a live show yesterday because people love to watch my heart break in real time. So we did a live show when I was watching the last 2 innings, and people are pounding the comment section. We should have traded for this guy. We should. You know what? You don't know what they were asking for. Mm-hmm. Unless you were in the room, you have no idea. 2, these are the same people that are going to be crying if they overpaid for someone and they get hurt, or that person that goes to the other team becomes a superstar.
Right.
So it's tough. But to answer your first question, Trevor Bauer, sign him yesterday, especially because I know it's buying high. His value's never been higher right now. He's going to win the NL Cy Young, and he deserves every second of it. Dude's he pitched. I watched him pitch against the Braves in Game 1 of that series. Holy smokes. He's an asshole.
That's also actually.
Yeah, he's an asshole. I mean, there's no. I could say a lot of other words by him, but I don't want to get your show rated MA. But he's an ass. But he's made it very public that he's betting on himself from here on out, and he's going the LeBron route. He's only signing 1-year deals. And for the White Sox front office, that's music to their ears. They absolutely hate giving pitchers long-term deals. So now you have the best possible free agent pitcher basically on a platter saying, I only want 1-year deals, and this is what you like to do. Now, right now, his market value, according to Sport Track, is 21.7.
Hell, you gave the parrot man 12. What the hell? That's only 9 more million.
I gotta wrap this up in about 15 minutes. I gotta pick him up, take him to O'Hare. But if his market value is 21.7, and you figure Garrett Cole makes like $33 million a year. Trevor Bauer had a better year than Garrett Cole. If I'm the White Sox, I'd throw 25 at Trevor Bauer, call it a done deal. Let's go. You got
that solidifies that for top 3 big time.
Well, you got to look and going into this with once they don't pick up Edwin's option, you got to figure McCann's gone. He did the whole "I've cherished my time here in Chicago"
right.
speech.
Yeah,
that's the dude that's on his way out.
Right.
Edwin's gone. I think they do re-sign Colomé. I think he earned it. He was a lights-out closer. No one even talks about him, and he's like an offensive lineman. You don't want to be talking about the closer, because if the only time you talk about the closer is when he does something wrong. Yeah. But so with all this freed up, the Sox are looking at like $90 million to spend this. They got cash. They have a lot of money now. Will they spend it? I know I'm not telling you guys anything new.
Hey, Reinsdorf is like Papa Bear Hellas. He threw nickels around like manhole covers.
Exactly. Oh, I like that. But yeah, I mean, I think the big one, next year, hopefully, knock on wood, we go back to normal and we go back to 162 games. If you think you can get through 162 games with 2 solidified starters, you're out of your mind. You live in banana land, because there's nothing I can do to help you. You go and you make the splash in Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer would be a great fit on this team. Are you kidding me? Trevor Bauer and Tim Anderson together? I'd pay $500 to sit front row for that show. That's going to be the best show, and it's going to piss so many people off, and the South Side loves that ish. We will sit here and welcome that with open arms. If you don't like it, beat us, and you're not beating that team.
Matt, let me ask you this. You mentioned the left-hand bat, and as you said, Trevor Bauer, who's the left-hand bat that you think should go out for?
So a left-hand bat has been the great white whale of the Chicago White Sox since before Adam Dunn.
I was going to say Adam Dunn.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a really tough one. That might involve a trade to get that player. Now, that's when Han's going to have to be a GM. Like, that's not a Trevor Bauer falling into your lap where you can't – basically he just has to go ask his dad for the money. But the left-handed bat's going to be interesting because now you got guys like George Springer is going to be a free agent. George Springer would be a fantastic right fielder for the White Sox, but he's a righty. And so that's a whole heavy right-handed dominant lineup because it made national news and everybody knows it. I mean, obviously I follow it too closely sometimes, but if you look at the splits, the White Sox were historically good against left-handed pitching, and that's because they're a right-handed heavy lineup. Now you throw a righty at them, and now we're looking at AAA ball, and it doesn't make sense to me. But I'm looking at your comment section. Trade for Schwarber. We got a Schwarber. His name's Eloy. But it's just. I mean, Schwarber hasn't been really the whole Cubs. I listened to the guy before me on the show, and he made a lot of good point. The Cubs need a hit. Yeah, that left-handed bat's rough. I think that's going to be maneuvering, and when it comes to that, it's easy for me to look at a list. I got 4 monitors here. That's what I'm pointing at. But it's easy for me to look at a list of free agents right now and be like, I want him. He looks
Matt,
good.
are you day trading? No, I'm just checking out the free agents.
Yeah, on this screen. Yeah, on this screen. But, some people like to throw, the pessimistic Sox fans.
There's only 1 or 2 of those.
Yeah, right. They'll throw out like, well, what's going to happen is we're going to end up with a guy like Josh Reddick. Because he's cheap. He bats left-handed. He's going to be 10 years a pro at that time. He's coming off a 4-year, $52 million contract. I don't want Josh Reddick. Josh Reddick's boring as hell. He's okay. And that's it. He's just okay. If this year went exactly how I said it, I believe I said it on this show a couple times, Shawn. A good year was making the playoffs. A great year would have been getting out of the first round. I've been saying, I'm on tape in like 10 different places saying that. So I'm okay with what happened here. How it ended, that hurt. The whole pitching, 9 pitchers, that was just, and it dragged on for 5 hours. It was like death by 1,000 paper cuts. It was the most slow, torturous, just eliminate. If I'm going to get eliminated, just put up 15 in the first. Let me go and get something to eat. Yeah, that was absolutely brutal. But so we watched that whole game, and we're going through it, and people are mad, and everyone wants to blame Ricky, which I think is weak. I think that's a low-hanging fruit. I don't think Ricky made Crochet get hurt. I don't think Ricky doesn't make the guys not hit. Ricky doesn't leave 15 guys on base. That's not on Ricky. But I'm sitting there watching it. I'm just sitting there going, the whole world is watching this game on ESPN, whether you like it or not. I mean, even if you're flipping around channels, you turn that game on 3 times because it went 6 hours. So you're sitting there. Everyone and their brother knows the White Sox, you need starting pitching. And this was never the finished product this year. We're 3, maybe 4 players away, and they're all obtainable this year. And that's why I woke up this morning feeling good, because next year it's going to be amazing, and it's going to be a 162-game season of watching this. And we're going to actually, hopefully, God willing, going to be able to sit in the stands and be overserved and be with friends and watch the White Sox game and hopefully watch Tim Anderson and Trevor Bauer just piss off the rest of baseball. And it's going to be way better experience because they're going to have pitching. Now they're not 1 pitcher away. It's not just Trevor Bauer. Now you got to start looking deep. And I mean, there's some older guys like a James Paxton, and there's a lot of people. And the guy I really want is Marcus Stroman. Now that's another good.
So you're saying you want him to get 2 pitchers then, and you're saying then there's odd man out. So you got Crochet because you can't leave him down. You can't send him back to AAA. Or he's just out of the bullpen. So
I tweeted out yesterday. A lot of people are going to be pissed when Crochet's pitching in Birmingham next year.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's. I'd have him as a reliever because don't send him back.
Whoa, time out. Flag on the play. Dude, we almost killed this kid yesterday. Like, dude, he needs to grow and be stretched out properly. He doesn't need these high-pressure innings. Send that kid down. Because
he did well in a high-pressure inning.
Okay, he did well, but that still doesn't mean necessarily that he's ready over the long haul. All right, like that's one thing. Like I don't think we talked a lot about the pressure that was on him because it was so effortless. Just because it's effortless doesn't mean that he's not forcing that 100. Because how often have you seen somebody averaging 100? Not even a Aroldis effing Chapman is averaging 100 miles per hour. It's effortless, so it's cool. No, this kid, if he's this nice, take care of him. All right, because listen, you know the reason he just said we need Stroman is because you can't count on Kopech. We don't know what's going to happen with Dunning. We still aren't sure about Cease. So if we go into next year thinking, oh, we got all this young talent and they can give us 200 innings, you're going to be upset with what happens in the end of that season. Do not blow this kid's arm out. If he's this nice, and listen, when he just talked about Trevor Bauer, let's say Trevor Bauer gives us a year, maybe 2 years. Guess what? In 2 years, if Trevor Bauer wants to walk, Crochet is right there. Hey, Crochet, bring your ass up and your arm is stretched out. You're ready to go. And now we're continuing this window open. Listen, that pissed me off. And I'll say this too, Zoe. I mean, Matt.
No, either way.
I'm not doing the low-hanging fruit on Ricky because, listen, we say that about the Bears with the quarterback stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm not a Ricky basher like that. So it's not even one of those things like all season long. I'm like, damn you, Ricky. Damn you, Ricky. I'm not that guy because some things that Ricky did, and I'll tell you this, and I don't care if anybody doesn't like it. I like the move with Cease. And based off of this, though, if you were saying that Cease was not going to be your third guy, and you decided in that game with the maulers that you have behind you in the second game, you're going to go for it, I'm cool with that, Ricky. I'm not even going to bash you. I like that. But once you say that Dunning is your starter, he's going 3 innings. And that mess you talked about that we were going to bring in Crochet for a Pacific Battle. Dude, Dunning has pitched like this damn near the entire effing season. All right? The game against Plesac, where we thought he was a stud, he pitched like that damn near. So how the hell are you going to pull out Dunning when that's damn near a Dunning game? If he gave up a run, fine. You got all these guys. You cannot go by a bullpen game in the first. So for me, and it's not, I appreciate Ricky. I'm going to tell you this.
I got
Ricky has done well by these young men. All right? Like, I'm not even going to say, well, anybody could have done this. No. I think he brought this collective together. And this collective is ready. But even going off of what you're saying right now, if now we're ready to take the next step, I don't think there's anything wrong with looking for a tacticianer to also help them along the way. And even if managers only give you 2 to 3 wins, give me those 2 or 3 wins around like that.
For sure. Well, I do think you're right about Crochet. And I'm really not a pessimistic guy. I get accused of being overly optimistic way too much. Crochet came out with forearm tightness, which is usually code for a UCL, which is usually code for Tommy John.
Yep.
So the White Sox are probably going to get their hand forced with Crochet, and that is what it is. Now, you brought up a good point because I think too many people lean on we got Kopech. Who's Michael Kopech? What's he going to look like when he comes back? I know, what was it, like a month ago, there was that story that came out from The Athletic about Kopech working with a trainer, and he's doing all this stuff in the offseason, but he can't do it in official capacity because he's not on the roster. And okay, cool. The dude, I don't know. I got to see it. I got to see it. I am worried. I think, Kenneth, that's an extremely valid point. Because we've seen it before where Ricky comes out and he's like, well, we didn't make this move because we figured we had Michael Kopech coming back. We had Dane Dunning. You had Dane Dunning. Then why'd you pull him after 3/4 of an inning? And I know you didn't want him to face a lefty with runners in scoring position, but it ended up biting you in the ass.
Here's the thing, man. And that's the one thing is, with Renteria. And yeah, he does take a big blow, a big burden of the blame. And not to bash him, but that's exactly what he did, to do that. And I agree with you completely, Ken. And you tell him, hey, listen, if you get a bullpen game, then you say, hey, you're going 3, unless the wheels come off the cart and you give up 7 in the first. Then okay, then now we got to reevaluate some stuff. But you know what, you're going, so you might get in, you might get in some trouble. And but like exactly what you said, Ken. I got boppers in my lineup. You scored 1 run, 2 runs, okay, no problem. Hey guys, we got to go to work. Is what you tell them when they come in from the field, okay? Don't do that because I think you might have crushed his confidence. You could have done 1 or 2 things. You could have crushed it, or you could have really pissed this guy off where he comes back and he pitches like an ace. I don't know which one's going to happen next year because I know if that was me and he did that, I know I'd be working out my ass off all off season and say, you're never going to pull me from a playoff game again. You will never pull me from, you know what I mean? So, but that's my mentality. I don't know how this kid is and how it's going to work with him. A couple of mistakes that I believe he made. When you bring in Garrett Crochet, he's a starter. Bring him in a clean inning, not in the middle of a dirty one. Okay, don't do that to him. I would have brought in Aaron Bummer first, but bring in people who are used to coming in the dirty innings with runners on base in scoring position to get out of an inning. And then when you're able to bring it, start Crochet at a clean inning. And when you talked about him, I don't want him as a starter next year. No. I want him as a reliever coming in. Hey, kid, you got 3 outs. You got 3 to 6 outs today, depending on how well it goes, and then you're done. If, like we talked about the forearm tightness, because I mentioned that in the top of the morning segment with the forearm tightness, what it leads to, just like you said, Matt. If that doesn't progress to that thing, then I'd love him as a reliever. But now I do see, the need for a legit number one, and we got tons of toys to package up and get a solid number 3, or hell, even a number 1. You talked about Trevor Bauer. Hey, give up something, because there's nothing more important. We got the bats, but there's nothing more important than starting pitching in the playoffs. And we see how it came to bite us in the ass. Because now imagine if we had a stud. Say we had a Clevenger. Say we had, before his arm fell off. You got Clevenger, Giolito, and Keuchel. I'll take that 3, starting 3 going into the playoffs. Or if we get another guy, Giolito, Keuchel, and another 3, I'll take that going into the postseason, and I'll be good with it. With the bats I got coming up behind me, yeah, I'll take that every day. Hey, listen, guys, we're joined by Matt Zawoski from the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast, talking a little White Sox baseball right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
Best podcast name too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're a little bit unique where we got Cubs, and we cover the Cubs and the Sox. So we've been doing it for 3 years. We were talking about that yesterday. That's wild. But actually, I'm a big fan of reading the comment section while we go. Chapa here, trade for Ketel Marte. Not the worst idea in the world. I mean, that kind of goes with the whole vibe of the team too. It wouldn't be a bad idea. I don't know what he would cost. Arizona stinks, so it could be cheap. But we got
no pitching to give him.
Right. But yeah, and I mean, all Trevor Bauer is going to cost you is money. So it's not like he's a full-fledged free agent. He's already messing with fan bases on Twitter. The he's something else, man. But then I just think so things can be fixed. And that's the thing about this young team. Like Nick Madrigal, for instance, hit 340 something this year. His bat was as advertised. Struck out 7 times all year.
Nicky, 2 strikes.
Batted 340, but costly errors, costly base running mistakes. The game was too fast. The game was faster than he knew, and that's why he didn't get that ease-in period that rookies usually get. It was, we're tossing you into the deep end, let's go. And that's no excuse, but again, those things are easy fixes. So stay with me here with these easy fixes. Luis Robert struggled because he was trying to guess pitches before they were coming. And you could tell that's why his swing was way late. One of the co-hosts of my show is one of the most renowned high school baseball coaches in Vegas. He coached Chris Bryant. He coached Bryce Harper. He's a great swing analyzer. K-Fids, what's up, bud? But I had him break down Luis Robert's swing, and he said this is easy. He's guessing pitches. He's not just going up there and swinging. And that's why when he was in the middle of that slump, the ball was in the mitt. Someone drank a beer, a popcorn guy came by, and then he swung. It was like, what are you doing, Luis? But in the playoffs, he figured it out, and he just went back up there and just started doing his swing. He hit a ball to the freaking ocean yesterday. That thing, the largest home run in the StatCast era in the playoff. Unbelievable. And then he was in good company because you know who the last person that young to hit a home run in a must-win game?
Mickey Mantle?
Yeah, Mickey Mantle, my favorite baseball player of all time. I was juiced to see that. But anyways, so he's got a couple things he needs to work on. He definitely needs to work on his timing at balls at the wall. Holy smokes, that kid. That was like a joke. Aloy's going to work on his fielding. His foot's going to heal up. Props to him for playing through pain. If anyone ever calls Eloy soft, you're wrong.
Same with Makata. He took off.
Makata, Makata comes back from Corona, and we all know that this coronavirus affects people differently. And he's playing through it, and we don't know what his body's going through. Maybe his body doesn't heal as quickly because of this virus. So now I said it yesterday on the show, put him in a climate-controlled bubble for like 4 months and just let him come back like
He's a bubble boy now?
Yeah, he's a bubble boy now.
He's a moose.
And then Tim Anderson's an all-world player.
Freak. He's a freak, dude.
All-world player and a leader of this team. He handled his post-game conference yesterday was a thing of beauty. Saying, you know what, I'm not even mad because I know we all played our hardest. I can live with this. Jose Abreu is Jose Abreu. Next year, we're going to get Andrew Vaughn up here. Hopefully, Edwin, he's out. Jose, DH, Andrew Vaughn, first base. Oh, baby, that lineup looks gross. But then let's talk about pitching just for a second because we've been talking about pitching so much. Dylan Cease couldn't miss a barrel of a bat to save his life this year. I don't care. He was the 4th highest on average velocity pitcher in the league. But he also got smacked around like he stole something. And that's because he couldn't miss a barrel. He had no RPMs on his pitch. The ball was just coming in there like a meatball. No spin, no movement, no anything. Guess what, guys? That can be fixed. You know what can't be fixed? Velocity. So he can go in there, throw that 98 mile an hour, put some spin on the ball. Like Lucas Giolito, the difference between being the worst pitcher in the league and the best pitcher in the league is he changed his grip, had more RPMs on his pitches. You can do that with Dylan Cease, and now all of a sudden you have a stud. Dane Dunning, it was an accuracy thing. His bad starts was when he was working from behind hitters the whole time. That can be fixed. All this can be fixed. That's, again, I'm not trying to just be like the cool, like I'm going against the grain and everyone's sad. No, I'm literally excited for this team next year. I am, because there's so much good that can come out of this. And I'm legit pumped.
I'm excited too. Like I'm upset.
Oh yeah.
This kind of reminds me of last season, but better when Tim Anderson and Makata proved that who they were. And it was like, oh, so we don't have busts, right? So this is actually working. And Eloy, even though Eloy was hurt, he was getting all those breaking balls that most rookies didn't get. But it showed you how other teams feared him and how many homers he is.
Still had 31 homers.
Thank you, Shawn. This is compounded in a good way, where it's like, dude, look at who we are. So now, like what you're saying, and that even gets back, and I don't even want to harp on the Ricky thing, but it gets back to we're ahead of schedule now. That's the thing where it's like we're ahead, and we can't waste. We got really 5 good years when we talk about these contracts that these guys are signed up for, and that's not including. We don't know who's going to get hurt throughout this period. Right. You cannot give up one of these years with like we'll find out. No. You got to go and get this now because listen, just like the Cubs, I'm not even saying this in a negative fashion. We may only get one if we get one. Now we want at least 2 during this span, but you may only get one in baseball. So you have like everything that you're saying. You have to play like now is the time, and now is the time in every facet of this team to go and get it done.
I couldn't agree more. And I'm sorry, Sox fans, you're going to get mad at me, whatever. Remember the Cubs the year before they won the World Series? They were ahead of schedule, went to the playoffs, got eliminated in a similar fashion where all of their openings were exposed. It's like Yogi Berra said, it's deja vu all over again. I feel the same way with a lot of this with the White Sox team, except we're younger, we're better, we have more contract control, we're wisely, and people don't really credit Han as much because it's easy to say he's cheap, but it's also a good way to look at it is he hasn't painted himself into a corner with some of these long-term, huge, heavy deals, which are now biting the Cubs in the rear end because they're a little scrap. But, yeah, I know the Cubs went to the NLCS that year. It was a different year. They also played more than 60 games, and there wasn't a virus plaguing the country. There was a lot of differences there. But I see a lot of similarities. I think next year we're going to see a huge leap. I'm excited. I want the offseason to start now. Just give the Dodgers the damn World Series, and let's go.
So, guys, we're joined by Matt Zawoski for another few moments from the Tim Wisdom Ivy podcast, talking a little baseball right here, mostly Sox baseball on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. And I hear you, and I like the I have been saying that a lot. I've been trying not to, just so my Cub fans wouldn't have they love to give me static all the time. But there are so many similarities to what happened with this team and what happened in 15 with the Cubs. And I'm looking forward to a big step forward with these guys. Lewis Robert is going to be able to step up, and he was just a rookie. Yeah, he came out. They didn't know how to pitch him. And he was knocking the ball all over the place. Say, okay, well then let's give him some sliders. He couldn't hit sliders. Well, you know what? Same thing happened to Eloy. Okay, it happened, and then his slump came at the wrong time. Like if his slump would have started early and then he finished strong, then we're having another conversation. Eloy for Rookie of the Year. Right. Okay, but he had a slump like Eloy. Eloy didn't hit his first homer for what 4 weeks, 6 weeks last year until he gets out to Yankee Stadium. And then it was a slider that he hit his first homer off of.
That's beautiful.
Okay? So it's just he's a rookie. It's ebbs and flows, and it works itself out in 162. But in 60, it's so much more prominent. So, I love Lewis Robert. I know you love you some Madrigal. Nicky Two Strikes. And I think this team is really poised. And I think that the way that they exited is, and the thing that I did, I was watching those guys when they pan to them. And that's one of the things as a coach, I would tell them to sit there and watch them. If you once you lose in the playoffs, sit there and watch. Okay, you're not going into the locker room. You sit your ass there and watch because I need you to realize that this feeling that you're feeling. I don't want you to. You need to find out that you don't want to feel this again. So what are you going to do not to feel this way again? Watching somebody else celebrate. And I think the White Sox are fired up. And if we sign Bauer, dude, I'm calling you immediately.
You're gonna be put on hold for a little bit because I'm gonna be stone cold embarrassed in the driveway. But that's a good point that you said though, and I wanted to bring that up because Ken, you brought it up. Hurting Dane Dunning's confidence, pulling him that early in the game, and I don't know, it kind of got passed by. No one really talked about it. It was a real quick camera view. Did you see where Dane Dunning went as soon as he got pulled? Mm-hmm. He went and stood in the cool kids section with Dallas Keuchel and Lucas Giolito with their shades on, chilling outside the dugout. He went right to them and both of them opened arm, took them in, like, don't worry about it, kid. We got this next year. And to me, that got the blood. Yeah. I was like, let's go. And I think that's the same thing what you're saying, Shawn. If you watch, and it was kind of cool with the no fans there because they didn't do the pan shots to show, like the guy holding his kid and some dude eating nachos. They didn't do that. They just showed the dugouts. And even with Eloy not playing, like guys were coming in after tough at-bats, and Eloy's the first one there with his hand on their shoulder. That's Eloy. That's a second-year player doing that. Mm-hmm. And then let alone you have Jose Abreu, who, I mean, that's Pito. That's the god of baseball. Like it's just what it is. But I really like how this team is constructed. I really like the leadership on this team. I just think the glaring holes that we all knew were there were exposed, and that's what caused this. But
it's a good thing because now everything's in the open. So there's no hiding from it. And the one thing that you and I, all three of us know about Rick Hahn is he'll go get it done. He'll go get it done.
My only thing against Nick Madrigal, because I love him also, man, is he has a permanent case of worry face. And
he does.
And it's like, boy, you that worry face. You can hit it. And he's like,
so this is what I need to happen with Nick Madrigal. Remember when Rockefeller was like the big record label and Kanye got his chain on stage and it was like this whole big deal? Everyone on the White Sox rocks like minimum 3 gold chains. There's like a 3-chain limit on the White Sox. Nick Madrigal, no chains. They need to do a chain ceremony. Exactly. But I did notice as the season went on, Tim Anderson definitely took Nick Madrigal under his wing. Every time there was a pitching change or a meeting at the mound, TA has his arm around Madrigal, and he's busting his chops. Like he's punching him like his little brother. They're messing around. And this is the good stuff that I kept seeing with this team. And if TA is his mentor, because Nick Madrigal is the very much opposite of Tim Anderson, but if he could show him that confidence, that swagger, that belief in yourself, Nick Madrigal could be, Jose Altuve, not this year, cheater, but, Jose Altuve type or a DJ LeMahieu. Like, I mean, I know he doesn't qualify because he missed the first 2 weeks of the season, but Nick Madrigal batted .340 this year. He was the second best hitting second baseman in the league. but he needed like 6 more bats to qualify. But he only struck out 7 times.
And I think what was it? I'm trying to remember what he was the second highest. He had the second highest average with 2 strikes.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you talk about a guy he'll go deep in the count, and he'll get people, he'll give people a chance to check out the pitcher, but just also put some pitches on a pitcher. So you're getting him out of the inning, and you think he's batting 7, 8, or 9. You're not expecting 6, 7, 8 pitches on a 7, 8, or 9 hitter. This guy gets you 6, 7 pitches. The pitcher's like, damn, dude, stop fouling all these things, these baseballs off. And now you're taxing the pitcher's arm, which means if the pitcher was good, like when your new Darvish faced the Cubs, faced us on the Cubs, and we got him out, and we went to work. We went to work on that bullpen in a heartbeat. So you know what? I think Nick Madrigal. I love the kid. He just got to do a better job of base running, and but I love his approach. He smacks it all over the field. Nick. If that was Benetti's thing or someone sent that in, whoever came up with that is perfect for him. 2 strikes.
Yeah, they can get him a chain that says like 2 strikes on it or something like that. That'd be badass.
When you bring that up, it was during the Cleveland series, and one of their relievers came in, and he had this puny, terrible silver chain with a silver crucifix. And then they got the kid, the reliever, I think it's like Quinnan, and he had like the black diamond joint, and it was like, if y'all don't get his little chain. He's out here with the Pearson Pagoda, stunting in the Pearson Pagoda. Yep. It's like, if you don't give this boy a chain out here, if you don't that shit in, I don't know what's gonna happen to him.
So you know what? That's what we got to do. So hey, at Sox Fest, man, when we interview those guys, we got to say, Nicky, you got to get a chain. You got to get a couple chains, Papa. That's it.
They canceled Sox Fest, man.
Already.
Yeah.
So now we got to wait till Arizona.
Yeah, COVID killed it. But that's a good point about how he works counts. I mean, you think Nick Madrigal on any team the White Sox got TA, Padres got Tatis, Indians got Frankie. Any other team, Madrigal is probably your leadoff hitter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of those guys. But it's cool. I mean, a lot of good stuff this season.
Where are you going to bat him next season? I want to ask you that real quick. I know you got to go. Because he shouldn't be at 9th, but at least when everything flips, he's basically at the top of the lineup in the first place.
Right.
But where are you going to bat him? And does that mean, and I know and I told Shawn this about Moncada and the COVID earlier, are we going to just look at COVID being a reason to maybe pull him back a little and insert Magical right there? Maybe he can be the second guy, especially since he can just bat his ass off. Like, look at Magical moving forward in this lineup, Matt.
So if this was 5 to 6 years ago, he's your number 2 hitter. But baseball's evolved with the way lineups are constructed, where your 2 hitters got to be a guy like Grandal or Moncada. Hopefully his 4 months in the bubble I put him in, Moncada comes back strong and he bats 2. With the guy it feels like it's comforting to me now that to know when we get to the bottom of the lineup, I got a guy down there that is not going to strike out and that's going to flip it over to arguably the best shortstop in baseball.
Right.
So I'm kind of cool with him in that 9 spot right now. There's going to be some changes. I think Edwin's great. He had a great career. He's going to be 39. He hit 160. Yeah, it was a cool thing. I'm sure he helped out, but so he's going to be gone. So you figure you still go TA, hopefully a healthy Moncada, and then you put in like a Grandal. I really like Abreu at 4, and then Eloy, probably Luis Robert, and then hopefully you got an Andrew Vaughn in there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I haven't set an out yet in that line.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean?
Like,
that was crazy when you put Vaughn right there. That was that.
Yeah.
I felt something.
So, quick question for you, then, man. Because TA7 was talking, and he mentioned that if he was making the lineup, it'd be him, Yo-Yo, and Luis Robert, 1, 2, and 3. Your thoughts on that, and then put Pito at 4.
Don't hate it,
dude. I love that lineup. That proposed lineup. That's insane.
Yeah, you're going righty, switch hitter, righty, and then you probably throw a Grandal, so that's another switch. This is where we need that lefty bat, though. Like, I mean, this is so heavy, but I don't hate. I mean, Luis Roberts earned it. He's only going to get better. He's now seen 63 games worth of major league pitching. so he knows what to focus on, what to work. The kid works. Follow him on Instagram. His story every day is either him eating Domino's pizza or him in the batting cages. It's one of the two, and somebody got to get that boy some good pizza. But
I got some Cuban friends. I'm like, hey, you got any connects with Luis Roberts? You got to get him some pizza because that Domino's is. Hey, you got enough money, Papa? They give you $26 million before you even played an inning in Major League Baseball. You got enough money. Go to Connie's. Go to Giordano's. Go to Pizza. Chicago Pizza Oven Grinder.
Go to any place almost in Chicago.
Go to Pequod's, something, dude.
But he works, man. He works. He's always in the cages. He's got great relationships with a lot of the other young Cuban players that are coming up in the league that are either made the squad or this year because of the COVID restrictions. We're out this year, but he's got a good crew surrounding him. I think now that he's more part of the team for the first year, I think you're going to see him working more with the guy like Abreu a little bit more. And I mean, who better to teach the kid hitting than the guy who should win the AL MVP? And that's not me being a homer. I've been called a homer and a fanboy on Twitter, you little keyboard warriors. And
the thumbs up, Hubbard.
Fight people about Jose Abreu being MVP because.
They must not watch him, dude. They must not watch him because you're not a true baseball fan. Because even if you are being a homer, the fact is Jose Abreu. If you saw 11 of his 19 homers this year came when they were down 1 run. How the freak can you not say? You know what I mean? You talk about clutch. I mean that's what we're talking about. But people just you know how Twitter is. So you know what? Get a little like, oh, you're this. Like, oh my God, you hurt my feelings. Get a life, you loser.
I'm well aware. He's the MVP. I want him to be the kid. I mean, Jose Ramirez had a good end of the year, but Jose Abreu did it the whole season.
Man, F Jose Ramirez, man.
I know we did it, that son of a biscuit. Oh my goodness.
And then earlier you mentioned he whose name should not be mentioned. You mentioned him earlier. He pays for the podcast. I won't re-mention that name.
Oh yeah, I love him. He's
a stud, but
I love him. I ordered the shirt this morning. Someone already put his bat flip on a shirt from last night. I ordered
no way.
I ordered that joint this morning for sure. It stings, man, but having Tim Anderson at shortstop definitely relieves a lot of that burn. But he is fun to watch. I'm a huge Tatis fan. So I'm gonna leave you guys with this though, because I do gotta bounce. But I'm gonna leave you with this. At the very end of the day, we haven't lost 18 playoff games in a row like the book. Just remember that. Just say that to yourself. If you start feeling bad about the White Sox, just say we haven't lost 8. Could you imagine watching 18 straight playoff games of your favorite team and they lost every single one of them?
Stop. Maybe some people on a bridge.
Dude, that is insane. 18.
Right.
That's the longest streak in pro sports, North American pro sports. Hey, thanks. Matt, great stuff, Papa. I appreciate it, man. Do me a favor real quick. Let everyone know where they can find you online.
Twitter at Southside Zone. Make sure you're following at Pinwheels Ivy Pod. We do a live show. We actually use this exact format with the comment section and everything. I even have my makeup table in the background when we do live shows. But yeah, no, it's great. We've been interacting with the crowd, the fans a lot more. The comment section's been lit. It's usually Thursday nights, probably around 6:30, 7 o'clock Central Time. But we've been doing post-game shows throughout the playoffs. At Pinwheels Ivy Pod, and you can find us on Facebook, Pinwheels and Ivy Pod. So thanks, guys, for having me. Ken, it was great meeting you.
Dude, thanks for making me feel better. It was fantastic meeting you. I will be in the comment section moving forward.
Get in there, bud. And Shawn, always a pleasure. Hey, we have the same water. I just noticed.
Yeah, we do. We do. I noticed that too. Hey, Reader Man, great men think alike.
All right, Floyd. Hey, you guys take care, and I'll talk to you.
Hey, go get Encarnacion O'Hare. Make sure he's on time.
I gotta get him there, man. He's got a lot of. We gotta get him through the metal detectors. All right, boys. Take care.
All right, man. Later. Thanks a lot, guys. That was Matt Zawoski from Southside Zone from Pinwheels Ivy Pod. It was funny when he said that first. He goes, "I gotta cut it because I gotta go take Edwin to the O'Hare."
Oh man, that made my morning.
Good, man. Good.
I saw the rundown and I was like, "Oh, okay, we got mad." They was like, "Cubs talk." I'm like, "Man, you don't understand how I feel right now." Dude, I was cursing on Twitter. I don't really curse on Twitter. All right, that's really not my bag. I try to act like perhaps there's some kids out there or whatever. I was infuriated yesterday, and it's the real reason. It's not all really just because of Ricky, because like I said, like when I come on here, man, I'm not on here like, man, Ricky, but it's because baseball grabs you in such an effing way, right? Like I love my Bears, I love my Bulls, right? I mean, I love them, and they upset me when they're not doing well. But you have to put in so much time with baseball that when it starts going left, man, you start bugging out, right? Like I'm in the house screaming. The old lady's like, "Did they lose?" And I'm like,
"No, he just got a base hit."
I'm like, Crochet, you know the kid? I was sitting there, we were watching. He was just throwing 100. His arm maybe hasn't blown out. Like I'm livid, right? I'm livid. Like, and because even with that, Shawn, even sticking with that, with the Crochet thing, real quick, because I don't know if we're going to take a break or not, but just real quick. You were basically saying you're going to pitch this kid 2 innings and he's straight out of college, right? Like we don't in high pressure. I get it. If he's going to go an inning and a half, maybe. But I mean, you pulled Dunning, and I know this kid has elite stuff. And listen, some of the nastiest stuff in the MLB right now, period, right? Coming from the left-hand side, right? But when you're about to put all this pressure on Shorty, and y'all already were pushing him in the playoff chase. I know they were in the playoffs, but seeding-wise, you were already pushing him. So it's just like, and I love them. We all love them. We've seen it. I mean, listen, we love all these arms. They got a litany of arms. But when I saw that, and again, when I saw that, and we've talked about it, you didn't trust in Dave Dunning, and Dave Dunning has done enough to get a little bit of trust to get another inning. All right, he's done enough this year, coming from Tommy John surgery. All right, coming through in a pennant chase. You already stretched him out to over 100 pitches, so it wasn't even a situation where earlier on you were just maybe giving him 3 innings, and you got the Gio Gonzalez game when he came in from. No, you stretched him out. Give this kid a chance, man. Like that. That's just. And again, it's not. I'm not just looking at one thing that Ricky did. I'm looking at it all in its totality, and I think he did right by the Sox. I think he did. But moving forward, I think it's time to look at other options.
You know what? I just we do got to take a quick break. But in regards to Crochet, I didn't want him coming in the dirty inning. I wanted him, if you're going to start him, all right. And that's why I was like, you know what, leave. And again, that's where Bummer comes in. All right, that's where Bummer comes in. If that's what you thought, then boom, you want to nip that in the bud. But I think, but my thought was, and that's Ricky Renteria's thought. My thought was, give him an inning, give him 2 innings. Say, hey, listen, because if you give him 2 innings and he comes back and he's lights out, all right, because that's what. How many times you've seen Dane Dunning do it? You've seen Cease do it. They get rocked, they'll give up 1 or 2, and then they are lights out.
Right.
They are perfect until they get pulled.
He had 2 outs already. He had 2 outs. Yeah. Now listen, if he didn't have an out, I'd still be like, we got to see. But if he didn't have an out, I'd be understanding. He had 2 outs.
Yeah,
it was like
pop up, with easy dribble down the first base line, scoop, boom, out of the inning, let him go. And if you want to pull him in, fine. Say, hey, you got 1 good inning. He ends on a high note. His season ended him getting pulled. Right. Not even an inning, dude. Not even an inning. So that was it. But listen, we got to take a quick break. At the other side of the break is going to be another triumph of 3 Musketeers again. Jason Palmer is going to join us till the top of the hour, where he's going to take the baton from my man Ken. So don't go anywhere, folks. We have a lot to talk. We're going to talk a little bit of Cubs. We got to talk a little Bears. And before JJ Stankovic comes in at the top of the hour. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. The Marlins and Cubs were rained out on Thursday. They'll square off this afternoon in Game 2. Miami leading the series 1-0. Yu Darvish gets the nod. The Cubs with their backs against the wall in the best of 3. The season's come to an end for the White Sox.
Pinder, it's a drive in. It's going to be into left field for a base hit. 1 run is in. Second run around third. The throw to the plate in the slide and not in time. Listella scores.
A's radio at the call. 6-4 the final on Thursday. Oakland wins the series 2-1. Bears wide receiver Allen Robinson told ESPN that he trusts the coaching staff to make the right decisions. This following the news that Nick Foles takes over as starting quarterback.
For us, we believe in Coach Nagy. We always have. So whatever decision he make, as a team, we support it. We're gonna rock with it.
Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at boomernaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330-95.9 The Zone.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so when you call 833-8ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 833-8ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago on this TGI Mickey Ficky Friday, baby. It is the weekend, baby. And yes, it's a sad day, bittersweet day. Our White Sox have been eliminated from the playoffs, but there's a lot of good things to look forward to. And I'll tell you what, part of it is what I'm looking forward to the offseason. What is Rick Hahn going to do? He goes and gets a stud pitcher, signs, Trevor Bauer. If he signs Trevor Bauer in the offseason, Lord have mercy. We have to be put very close to one of the front runners for a World Series, because you get 3 legit pitchers in that rotation into playoffs, and then with the maturation of Lou and the maturation of making 2 strikes, you know what I mean? This is what I'm talking about. Because what if they have they take the same step as Anderson as TA7 did his second year, which was last year. Or Yohan Moncada. You know what I mean? These are the things, and these guys get better. Oh, Charlie!
You know what that sound like? That sound like the Sox would be on the Twins' ass.
Oh man, because Twins are good. But you know what? They made a statement at the last series, like boom. We here, we can fight. We'll smack you around 4 games in a row. How about them? They're apples. Hey, listen, we're gonna bring in our guy. We're gonna make it the triumvirate of the 3 Musketeers, so we can talk a little. I know he has his comments because he does the post game, the Red Line baseball show on SportsZone Chicago. He's doing live post games. So he was on last night. He was a little heated, boy. He was heated.
He was. I owe him an apology. So bring him in.
Yeah, he's a co-host of the What's Up Cuz podcast with his cousin Lancey Irvin. You can find him on Twitter at Jay Coyden, on Jason Palmer. Jay,
morning, fellas. How are you?
What's going on, Jay?
He's always so proper at times, and then the real Jason comes out like, "Good morning, gentlemen. How are you doing this fine?"
The strap always strapped. Jay jumps out. You keep it loaded. I keep it loaded.
I keep it loaded,
up in Kenosha County, real quick. Jay, I apologize. I didn't see your. No problem. Listen, but always just text me because I never check that. I never check that out.
Gotcha, no problem. Yeah, I mean,
been on there like white on rice with you.
I know, man. It would have been a real fire show last night. What can I say, man? We're all invested in this thing. We all know the potential of this team, and we all also understand you only get so many bites at the apple in doing this, especially with COVID going on. We don't know what's going to happen in March. The president of the United States now has COVID, so we don't know what the heck. I see you, Ken. We don't know. We don't know what the heck is going to happen in a few months. So, I'm just a person. When you get that opportunity, man, you gotta take it. And I feel as though it was a squandered opportunity, and I don't feel as though it was all the players' fault. I think it was everybody's fault. I think it was Rick Hahn's fault. I think it was Ricky Renteria's fault. I think it was the players' fault. Definitely Jose Abreu went outside of himself in a couple of at-bats that we have not discussed yet, but what he did in the 8th inning, when he chased that one slider, he would have had a 3-1 count, man.
3-1 count, yeah.
He would have had a 3-1 count. And in his previous at-bat, he chased the ball. Luckily, the Marcus Simeon throw was off the line, so he reached the base on the error. But he started going back to what he did the previous years and not trusting who he had behind him. He had McCann behind him, man. McCann can hit. The White Sox got a few decisions to make. I personally I'll say this. I agreed with just about everything Ozzie Guillen and Frank Thomas said yesterday in their post-game show. I was doing my show and I went back and watched theirs. I thought Frank Thomas was phenomenal in basically putting it out there. And these are two guys that work for the White Sox, so you would think they would have to hold their tongue, and they didn't. And
I don't want to talk about nobody.
Right. And I thought they did a lot.
Especially when I want his job.
Right. And I thought they did a lot better job than the Chicago professional journalists did. I was very disappointed with that post-game press conference. I mean, they really needed a guy like me and Brad Squires and Zoe and Ken. They really needed us in that press conference.
Softballs thrown.
Yes. One guy,
over the place.
James Fegan actually asked Ricky, well, what do you look for in 2021? And I'm like, dude, we all know he ain't going to be there in 2021. What the hell are you asking that question?
A new house. That's what he's looking for. A new house coming out of Chicago.
I'm the same thing.
I mean, the post-game press conference was just as awful. And, me being me and in the media, I sent a personal message to Bruce Levine, to James Fegan, and our guy, what's the guy ESPN,
Scott Merkin.
Scott Merkin. And I was like, you guys should be ashamed of yourselves for that press conference. I was like, if y'all don't want to do the job no more, get the hell off the beat. And I sent it to him, and I meant it. Get off the beat, man. Get some young reporters on there who are thirsty then. You don't let that dude sit there and get away with that stuff. I mean, it was a bunch of stuff they could have asked him. And Ozzie Guillen himself even said it, in the post game, like, man, what kind of questions was that?
When I was managing, y'all wasn't doing that to me. Right,
exactly.
Joe Cali wasn't allowing that to happen to me. I mean, but you were getting pressed. Like, dude, I'm totally with you, Jason. I watched it. The old lady was down here, and I'm like, listen, I'm cool with Fegan. But I'm like, dude, like you say, he's not going to be here. I absolutely love Cheryl Ray Stout, and usually I know she'll even come. But I'm sitting there watching it, like, dude, how angry I am. You guys got to give me something to you have to convey to him, like, dude, what were you thinking at this time? I'm not telling you to tear him down. You know how to do your job in a professional manner. But, dude, this is Chicago. This isn't Hoboken. There's some lame natural place where it's easy for you and to meet. No, you got to press this dude. So you're disappointed just like you were, Jason.
Yeah, I was really disappointed in that post-game press conference because, I mean, here's your chance. You're really working for the fans. You're trying to get answers for the fans. So ask the question that the fans are talking about. If you don't understand what the sentiment of the fan base is, go on social media. They're telling you. They're telling you.
You'll read it in black and white. No uncertain terms. You'll find out, especially Sox Twitter.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was very disappointed with that. But, overall, when I step back and look at it, the White Sox did what I wanted them to do, which was to make the playoffs this year, see some development from some players. Personally, I would have started Dylan Cease, personally, just my thoughts.
I said the same thing, bro. I said it on my show. I said I would have, just because of innings pitched, how long he's been up, I felt better with Cease, even though Dunning has playing better. But I said the same thing as you, Jason. I would have went with Cease over Dunning. But once you committed to go Dunning, commit to go Dunning.
Well, here's the thing, and Shawn knows it because he talks about it a lot. Dylan Cease is good for 3-4 innings. And then he gonna have that one inning where you like, oh Lord. but that was the purpose of yesterday's game. We said you need somebody who can give you 3 innings. He may have gotten you 4. And I also think he has the best technical stuff. But I also agree with what Zoe said. He didn't have no movement on that fastball, man. You could throw 105. If you throw it straight, they gonna hit it.
These are pro hitters. Hey, listen, we got to take a break. Hey, Ken, thank you, Papa. You have a great weekend.
You too, both of y'all.
Monday. All right, buddy.
Be safe, y'all.
All right, now. We got to take a quick break. So on the other side of the break, we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk Bears football. I might even have a wardrobe change. You know, well, Janet Jackson had my boot on her mind. No, I said change, not malfunction. We're going to talk a little Bears football coming up with our guy, J.J. Stankovitz from NBC Sports Chicago. And, man, we have tons. I know I got tons of questions for J.J., so don't go anywhere, folks. Bears talk up next right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. The Marlins and Cubs were rained out on Thursday. They'll square off this afternoon in Game 2. Miami leading the series 1-0. Yu Darvish gets the nod. The Cubs with their backs against the wall in the best of 3. The season's come to an end for the White Sox.
Pinder, it's a drive in. It's going to be into left field for a base hit. One run is in. Second run around third. The throw to the plate in the slide and not in time. Stella scores.
A's radio at the call. 6-4 the final on Thursday. Oakland wins the series 2-1. Bears wide receiver Allen Robinson told ESPN that he trusts the coaching staff to make the right decisions. This following the news that Nick Foles takes over as starting quarterback.
For us, we believe in Coach Nagy. We always have. So whatever decision he make, as a team, we support it. We're gonna rock with it.
Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so when you call 833-8-ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 833-8-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. And, man, you see I'm fired up to talk about this. I had a quick wardrobe change. You might not see me because I got my camouflage on, but I'm still here. You might just see like a floating head, but, it just I had to change, man. I'm fired up about this weekend. Our chance to go 4-0 to finish off the first quarter of the season, undefeated. And, man, I want to get this guy on, man. Our next guest, he works for NBC Sports Chicago. He covers the Bears for them. He also does the Under Center podcast. And you can find him on Twitter at JJ Stankovitz. Guys, let's bring him on. Good friend of the program, JJ Stankovitz. JJ, what's up, Papa? How are you?
Shawn, Jason, how's it going? I love the nickname, Shawn. Little shout out to Raymond Harris there.
He's the ultra back. I'm the super back.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Well, I still read it like you're pulling a Raymond Harris here.
So, man, I'm fired up. I'm excited going into this weekend. The Bears are 3-0 for the first time in God knows how long. And you know what? It hasn't been pretty, but they don't ask you if they're pretty. They ask if you got them. And we got all three to this point, and we'll take them because there's an old saying: there's nothing you can learn by losing that you can't learn from almost losing. And the Bears, I think, have done a lot. And I think Matt Nagy just finally hit that point. So now that we have Nick Foles entrenched as the starter moving forward, what do you expect different for this Bears offense and defense? But ask me the offense first because it's definitely gonna affect the defense. But what do you see how this offense do you think is going to operate moving forward with Nick Foles calling the shots?
Yeah, Shawn, I wrote about this on NBCSportsChicago.com on Wednesday. The 4 ways that Nick Foles will change the Bears offense, and it's going to be rather significant. I think the first thing I wrote about was RPOs, which, Mitch Trubisky could do, but was not as adept at doing as Nick Foles is. Nick Foles is really good in the RPO game. That should help the Bears on 3rd and less than 5, we'll call it. Those plays, Mitch Trubisky was 27-41 on passing on those downs. That needs to be better. I think Foles can help out there. And 3rd downs have been driving Matt Nagy nuts this year. So I think that's the starting point. The second two things, or the next two things, deep balls and back shoulder throws. Nick Foles can hit those deep balls, and he's going to push it downfield a lot more. Mitch Trubisky only had 15 passes that traveled 20 or more yards beyond the line of scrimmage in his 10 quarters of football with the Bears. Nick Foles, in his 1 3/4 time as the Bears starting quarterback, already pushed the ball downfield 9 times. And some of that probably had to do with trying to have a comeback against the Falcons, but it's also just in Foles' DNA to push the ball downfield like that. So that's number 2. Mike Fury, the Bears wide receiver coach, kind of not threw Mitch under the bus, but said, hey, those back shoulder throws that we haven't had for the last 2 to 3 years, they're going to start coming now with Nick Foles in there.
Wow.
So I know. I think he kind of unintentionally put Mitch in a body bag there.
Put him in a body bag.
Yeah, but that is another aspect of it, right? Where like you get really sticky coverage on Allen Robinson, and instead of being like, I'm moving off that progression, Foles might be like, you know what? Next time you run that, we're hitting a back shoulder throw, and then they're going to have to respect that. Then you hit them deep. It's another aspect that opens up for this offense. And then the last thing I wrote about with Foles was just the ability to actually, what did I write? God, you know what? My brain is still so scrambled. Go read it on NBCSportsChicago.com. I got 2 9-month-old infants. That it sometimes happens. But read the 4th thing on NBCSportsChicago.com. We'll call that a teaser for it. But it is going to change. Oh, sorry. I know what it was. Shotgun. The Bears have been going under center a whole lot more with Mitch. Foles is better out of the shotgun. He's better out of 11 personnel. This helps Anthony Miller, I think, more than any other player on the Bears offense.
Why do you say that?
Because the Foles' preferred offense is that kind of shotgun, push it downfield offense, which you can do with 2 tight ends, and 2 tight ends are still going to be a part of the Bears offense, no doubt. But I think what Foles is good at is what the Bears offense was the last 2 years. Just 11 personnel heavy, 3 receivers out there. It's what Matt Nagy wanted to do and realized he couldn't do with Mitch, so he changed the whole offense. But they still have those concepts installed. And you saw it a lot when Foles got in there. They were out of the shotgun a lot more. They were in 3 wide receivers a lot more. Foles' ability to operate that kind of offense is going to, I think, mesh better with what Matt Nagy really wants to do here.
You know, JJ, you bring up one of my biggest beef with the Bears is that they don't stretch the field, and I think they have the wide receivers to do it, especially when you bring in a guy like Ted Ginn Jr. And the truth be told, Trubisky just wasn't taking shots. And I think he has a better arm than Foles, but, you know, for some reason he was not throwing that deep ball.
Couldn't read the coverage.
Right. Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, talk a little bit about how throwing that deep ball will actually help the running game.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Jason. You can run it out of the shotgun a lot better if defenses aren't just squatting on short routes and playing closer to the line. If Foles can hit some of those deep shots, especially early against a very good Colts defense on Sunday, it's going to force them to back off a little bit. And then that should open up some lighter boxes for David Montgomery. And we know David Montgomery, if he gets through that line of scrimmage without a D lineman getting a hand on him, he's gonna make a guy miss. He's gonna just drag someone for a couple of yards as they're trying to bring him down. David Montgomery is at his best when he gets 4 or 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage and now is going up against a DB or even a linebacker. That is where David Montgomery can really make an impact, turning those 4 or 5 yard runs into 8, 9, 10, 11. And I think that's what you can see a lot more of if Foles is hitting those deep shots. The other thing, going back to that Giants game where Mitch had that interception on the far side where he was looking at Allen Robinson and the DB came down and just he squatted on that short route. You can take that away if Allen Robinson is not only making a double move, but Nick Foles is hitting him on that double move. Then that opens up more of the short passing game. You just can become a lot more unpredictable with those deep shots. And Mitch didn't have the willingness, I think, to take those deep shots. And when he did, he overthrows Anthony Miller by 2 yards. He doesn't give Ted Ginn a chance to make a play on the ball down the sideline. Foles will allow his receivers to make plays. And I think that is the difference between him and Mitch, where it wasn't that Mitch didn't trust his receivers. Foles just has an extra layer of it when he throws that deep ball.
Guys, we're joined by JJ Stankovic from NBC Sports Chicago, talking a little Bears football right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. And I couldn't agree with you more, JJ. You know what? Athletically, Mitch is in another world when it comes to him and Foles. But you don't need to be an athlete to play quarterback. It helps, but that's not the prerequisite. And the one thing that I really hated seeing was balls thrown behind him, balls thrown to the ground, balls airmailed. And these are guys that are open. And you and I both know that football, you only get X amount of chances, and when you squander those chances, sometimes, and if you miss a field goal late, like, well, the kicker sucked. Well, yeah, but you never blame that one thing. You go back and look, and a lot of the chances that Mitch has squandered in his era, if he connects on half of those, this football team is in a whole different place.
I want to make this point here too, because I forgot to mention it early on. How many times have we seen Mitch complete a pass, but instead of leading Allen Robinson toward an open field, he hits him on his back hip, and Robinson then, instead of turning a 14-yard pass into 25, it's 14 into 17. Those extra yards that Foles' accuracy can help Bears receivers get after the catch are going to be very, very important. It's a total shame that Tariq Cohen isn't going to be out there with Nick Foles, because I think he would have stood to benefit a lot from a quarterback who could lead him into making plays. And you can't have your receivers diving for balls or go into a knee to catch an inaccurate pass. Let them stay on their feet. Let them make a play, because Allen Robinson sure as heck showed he can do that against the Falcons on Sunday when you allow him to make a play.
I agree. That was gonna be my next question about Tariq.
I was gonna ask you that too. Apparently, great minds think alike. So
absolutely.
We're all thinking alike. I'll probably go a different route, and I'll let Shawn come back to the offense with Tariq Cohen. But punt returning. What is the plan now for that? Is it going to be Cordell Parrott? Is it going to be Ted Ginn? Is it going to be Cordell Patterson? Do we know who's going to be our punt returner now?
Von Wims. That was another question as well.
Right.
So if I had to guess, I think it's going to be Ted Ginn. Mostly because Anthony Miller, while he's definitely more explosive right now. I mean, Ted Ginn's got great straight line speed. I don't know if you're going to count on Ted Ginn to take a punt back. I think you trust Ted Ginn just to catch and secure the ball. Even Anthony Miller, when he caught that punt against the Falcons and returned it, got that unnecessary roughness penalty on it. He's running, and I'm kind of like, that ball doesn't seem super secure. And we've seen also with Anthony Miller where he's been running and his shoulder just pops out. I think you can't risk Anthony Miller in terms of his ball security and his injury issues on punt returns. Ted Ginn, at least as a 14-year veteran in the league, knows when to run up and fair catch, knows when he can be aggressive on a return, when to let it bounce. I think you trust him on that. Cordero Patterson said this week he's not really a punt returner. Javon Wims, I don't know about that. I think the Bears might want to get Artavis Pierce back there at some point this year. But I think for the next couple weeks, I think it's going to be Ted Ginn. And that's okay. Just have a guy who can be back there and catch the ball. That is the bare minimum requirement, and I think you can trust Ted Ginn with that.
Oh, I think you can too, and he's another young guy, older guy, that veteran that I really like, that's really can contribute. You saw that fourth down play, which Mitch. It's so funny because I don't know if it was you. I watched someone who broke it down, and you just showed how
Mitch break it down.
Yeah, so it was you that I watched, and how it was just a cover two, and a cover two. Because once you understand what the coverage is, then you know where all the weak spots are. Because every zone has weak spots. They can't cover everything. So once you realize it's a cover two, like, oh, okay, boom, and he hit him right behind the corner in front of the safety in that soft spot, and then he just kept running. So that was awesome. That's something that Mitch I don't think would have been able to process as quick as Foles.
Right. And that throw, Shawn, real quick on that throw, it wasn't just that Foles identified the coverage and knew where he was going with the ball at the start. He had to hold the corner with his eyes to make sure that corner didn't get the depth that would have affected that throw.
Yep.
So you just because Demetrius Harris chipped Dante Fowler on it and wasn't releasing into the flat as quickly. So that corner easily could have been like, Harris isn't a threat. I'm going to drop back because Ginn is probably running a corner here. And instead, Foles froze that corner with his eyes. He froze the safety and then threw with conviction from the far hash to the numbers. That was an awesome throw. And I asked Matt Nagy about it, and he was just like, that was clinic tape on how to beat cover two. And Foles did it with conviction. He threw a great ball right in stride to Ted Ginn. Also, shout out to Ted Ginn for running a great corner route. The anticipation, the timing, everything about that play was perfect in a really key situation against Atlanta.
And it could also have been from Mitch Trubisky. You might want to thank him because then they know that it's sometimes you don't realize who's quarterback until you get that play like, oh, damn it, that's not Mitch in there, because Mitch is going to go to the short guy. And you might have caught up there to save that. So, shout out to Mitch on that play when you weren't in. Your tendencies may have helped on that particular play as well. But I want to find out how this is going to affect the defense and the Chuck Pagano play calling. Do you think he's going to be more aggressive now that he feels I got a quarterback who can put it in his own, who can punch it in? I can send some more people because I feel personally that he doesn't call as much, he doesn't bring as much heat because he didn't have confidence in the fact that Mitch might not be able to get some points back if we let up a touchdown or we go down 10. Now with Foles in there, and I know I asked everybody, a lot of people, they were more calm once Foles went in, even with the interception, touchdown, whatever, to Allen Robinson. They were just calm and relaxed when Foles was at the helm. Do you think the same could be said about Chuck Pagano and affect his play calling?
I think it's a really good question, Shawn, because as much as the defense wants to say we run independent of the offense, that has to be part of the thinking, right? Like, I can be a little more aggressive because I trust the offense to score more points. I think the one thing, I think you need to see it in a game before you really do that. Because for as hyped up as we are about Nick Foles, this is a guy whose career passer rating is basically what Mitch Trubisky's was. Nick Foles is a good quarterback who I think fits this system very well. But Nick Foles is by no means a world beater. He's by no means a top 10, 15 quarterback in the NFL. So how much does he really affect the offense? I think this is a really good test this weekend against a very good Colts defense. If Foles is putting up points, I think Pagano might say, all right, you know what? If he can do it against this defense, then we can be a little more aggressive. But I think independently, Pagano also needs to be a little more aggressive with sending some pressures and targeting those pressures. Vic Fangio, while he was not a blitz-heavy coordinator, when Vic sent a blitz, it was hitting home. I mean, he had such a knack for calling blitzes and designing them at the right time in the right place to maximize their effectiveness. I think you need to see a little more of that out of Pagano in year two, no matter who's at the quarterback.
JJ, my question, I got two of them. First one, so now that we do have Nick Foles back there quarterbacking, he's got to be the most protected guy in the city of Chicago. I'd love to get him some Secret Service agents to protect him because if he goes down, we're back to Mitch. The offensive line play now. I think one of the things that happened that I noticed was when he went in the game, your offensive line seemed to have picked up their game. And they were like, okay, let's go get it. And this offensive line has improved greatly this year. What kind of vibe do you get from the offensive line in terms of who they prefer?
I'm never going to get someone to admit they prefer Foles over Mitch. Mm-hmm. Especially that line's led by Cody Whitehair. He's really close with Mitch Trubisky. You're not going to get that out of him. But I think there might be something to, you remember last year when James Daniels was playing center and they moved him back to guard because he wasn't getting the protections right. Mm-hmm. And I think some of that had to do with Mitch not getting the protections right. Foles is so good at diagnosing the defense in front of him that I think the offensive line is just naturally going to want to – they're going to feel more comfortable with him in there because he's going to call out the right protections, get them in the right looks, and make sure that they are blocking the right guys. And early in that game against the Falcons, how many times did David Montgomery get stuffed for a loss of 5? And we heard after the game there are some unscouted looks in there. I think Foles is maybe a little better at dealing with those unscouted looks than Mitch and communicating that to the offensive line. But this offensive line's playing well. Seeing a lot of good things out of James Daniels. Cody Whitehair's playing at, a potential Pro Bowl level right now. And Jermaine Ifedi, it looks like the Bears were right in that kicking him inside from tackle to guard is what he really needed with the level of talent he has. Mm-hmm. So I'm confident in this offensive line going forward. Maybe a little more confident that Foles is in there. But I will say one thing. You talk about putting Nick in a bubble. Nick Foles has never started more than 11 games.
Exactly. That's why I have
13 more games left. And I'm writing it on NBCSportsChicago.com today. Mitch Trubisky's got to be ready because at some point he's going to start another game for the Bears this year. Mark my words. He's got to be ready. He's got to be engaged. He's still got to be with it because when that opportunity comes, that's going to be his last final opportunity to save his career.
One of the things that's also helping is a run game.
Last opportunity.
The last stand. Yeah, his last opportunity. Like for real.
For real this time, yeah.
Right. One of the things I think that I don't know if it's the new coach that came in, but I think what's also helping is that run game. And I've talked about this before, is when you tell an offensive lineman that you're running 30 times a game. Well, for the first 2 games, they were 29.5. So they had just under 30 times a game. And then last game they were behind, so they had to throw. But when you do that, you change the mentality, the psyche of an offensive lineman because they're moving people. And as a defensive lineman, there's an old saying that coaches use that you have to earn the right to rush the passer. And if you don't, so now if you're getting moved, they can't just go after the quarterback. And that run game, which they've stuck to, which is very surprising to me. I'm thankful. Don't get me wrong, but very surprising to me is really another reason why I think that they've been able to manhandle some defensive lines and I want to keep that mentality. I want to keep them moving. And I really didn't think, truth be told, JJ, that Coach Nagy was going to commit to the run like he has in the first couple games. Because if he continues to do that with now the Nick Foles, someone who can do that, defenses are really, really screwed.
Yeah, well, now we'll see, right? Like Nagy was committed to the run when Mitch was in there. Is he going to stay committed to the run with Foles in there? We're really going to find out because I think they started to build an identity. I mean, you look through the first 2 weeks of the season on neutral downs, they were running it more than any team in the NFL. And I don't know if that continues with Nick Foles because Nick Foles is more a Nagy's guy at quarterback. That being said, I think Nagy has seen what David Montgomery can do. He's seen what that interior can do. And I think he knows it would be stupid to get away from that. So will the Bears pass more? Yeah. But will they completely get away from the run? Absolutely not. I do not think that will happen this year.
I got one more question for you, JJ. And this, I was talking to a buddy of mine. I was on a radio show out in Arizona, and he posed this question to me, and it took me aback. So I'm going to ask you the question. Do you think that now that Matt Nagy had his guy, do you think that he didn't put Mitch in the best position to be successful as often as he should have? Because we've all seen when Mitch does well, when the pocket's moving, he's able to use his athleticism. And for whatever reason, Matt Nagy didn't do that last year, whether he told them covertly or overtly, don't run, or we got to win it. Great quarterbacks win it from the pocket, or whatever. Or now he's got his guy. Do you think that could have been an issue where he was playing chess instead of checkers and getting Mitch out there because now it's not his guy? Now he's got his guy, and do you think that's a possibility? Because when I heard of that theory, I'm like, that's very interesting. That's ballsy because you still need to win games. But your thoughts on that conspiracy theory?
It's interesting because I mean, last year a lot of the stuff the Bears were doing early in the season felt like square peg round hole with Mitch, and it felt like Nagy was trying to bring, like, if they're here, Mitch is here, Nagy's here. Nagy was trying to bring Mitch here instead of meeting Mitch here. And that at some point there's going to be a full diagnosis of what went wrong with Mitch Trubisky in Chicago. And I will be very curious if any part of that includes regret from Matt Nagy Like, I'm not talking about next year. I'm talking like 10 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
Will Nagy be like, you know what? I could have done more to help the kid. Because in 2018, the offense was fine. It wasn't like they were great, but the offense was fine, and they were doing a lot of stuff that Mitch could do well. And then it was, all right, it's year 2. We're in football 202 of this offense. You got to win from the pocket. You got to win out of shotgun. And it's like, those are 2 things that Mitch Trubisky was not quite good at. And I think last year just completely got away from Matt Nagy. You know, in terms of his play calling, in terms of his scheme. As soon as things started to go bad, week 1, he struggled to dig out of that. The flip side of it is Matt Nagy did everything he could for Mitch Trubisky this year, and he still was making the same mistakes. So while you're running more under center, play action, run heavy offenses in 2020, Mitch was still missing guys. And he still was overthrowing guys. He still was misreading defenses. He still was doing all the things that plagued his career up to that point. So was Mitch just a lost cause? You know, or if Matt Nagy did that last year, are we having a different talk right now? I don't know. It's impossible to know that. You can only go off what has already happened. And what has happened is that Mitch had a terrible year last year. Nagy had a bad year last year. Nagy now tried to meet Mitch in the middle, and Mitch didn't quite meet him in the middle. So now you have Nick Foles. Let
me ask you this real quick. Chuck Pagano, going back to Indianapolis, place where he was a head coach. This defense, we saw him last week starting to get a little bit more pressure on the quarterback. They got Philip Rivers, who's on the decline in his career, but who can still read defenses. Do you see the Bears defense blitzing more to try to pressure Rivers, or do you see them trying to sit back a little bit more and just put pressure on with the front 4 because you do have Philip Rivers back there in the pocket?
It's a really, really good question, Jason, and I think that's going to be the cat and mouse game on Sunday. If you blitz Philip Rivers, you better hit home because Philip Rivers has been in this league so long, he's going to pick you apart if you aren't hitting home on those blitzes, if they're picking them up and all that. I think the Bears might be better served just rushing 4 against Philip Rivers. And even though the Colts offensive line is awesome, just trust that Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn and Akeem Hicks can get home. And I mean, if you're sending a 5th guy, again, you better have that guy hit home because if you don't, Philip Rivers is going to tear you apart on Sunday. So, and, you know, the Bears had this last year. They did a really good job against Philip Rivers last year without Akeem Hicks. And I think that might give you a little more hope. Now, the Chargers offensive line was horrible last year. That is a different offensive line you'll be facing on Sunday. But I think you learned some lessons from that game. Like, if you're blitzing Philip Rivers and you're not hitting home, you got to stop blitzing. You can't just keep doing it. So this is going to be that is going to be, to me, the most important cat and mouse part of this game on Sunday. If the Bears are able to, with their great pass rush, beat a great offensive line, advantage goes to the Bears. But if they're rushing 4 and they're not hitting home and they feel like they have to send blitzes, advantage goes to the Colts in this game.
Before we gotta let you go, but I'm gonna say top that off. If they got to collapse the pocket because you can't send Mack and Quinn on the outside. Because you mentioned it, even though Philip Rivers is not a mobile quarterback, he will get his ass up and move in and around that pocket to buy that extra 3/4 of a second that he needs to unleash it and rip you apart. So we got to collapse that quarterback, and that's where the Eddie Goldmans of the world are needed. And Nichols isn't really doing it, for us because he's just a little too light in the ass. So hopefully they can collapse that pocket, and that's the one thing that quarterbacks really, really hate is that pressure in your face because you can't throw, you can't follow through. So. Man, is there time to sign snacks for the game, or is there? Do we have time? Damn it! Damn!
No. I know. Snack. Despite Cordero Patterson's best efforts, the earliest if Snacks signs with the Bears, which is obviously a big if, I think the earliest he'd be available is the Panthers game. I mean, there's no way they could get him in the building and get him COVID tested and ready for the Bucs game.
Yeah. True, that's right. It's Thursday.
Panthers game. But I wrote this yesterday on NBCSportsChicago.com. You play in a division with the Vikings and Packers, who are two of the more run-heavy teams in the NFL, like the Colts. You better have a guy in the middle who can stop the run, and right now we're not seeing it. So you don't play the Vikings until November. That's a lot of time to get Snacks Harrison in the building, get him acclimated, get him back into shape for those critical division games. That, you know, the path to winning the division goes through two teams that like to run the ball. You got to be able to stop it.
And that's what I've been saying all this whole season, man. Once Eddie Goldman opted out, like, you better get a 330-pound guy in there. I said, just because otherwise, if I don't give a damn how good your linebackers are, because if linemen are able to get up on the second level and get to those linebackers, these running backs are going to run. Hey, JJ, great stuff, Papa. You know, love talking football with you, man. Do me a favor, let everyone know where they can find you online.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at JJ Stankovitz. You can read all of my stuff on NBCSportsChicago.com and on the My Teams app. And download and subscribe to the Under Center podcast. We have a lot of fun, myself, Cam Ellis, on it. We had a very special guest on to preview the Colts game this week.
Jeff George?
Who?
Jeff George?
No, it was my wife, who's a big Colts fan. we had a lot of fun with that. So you should definitely check that out.
Hey, great stuff, JJ. We appreciate it, man. I know we ran you a little long, but we appreciate it. Good convo, man. Thanks a lot.
Anytime, Sean, Jason. You guys be well.
Take care.
All right, now. Guys, that was JJ Stankovitz from NBC Sports Chicago. And that was a great conversation. We kept him a whole 30 minutes, man. Good stuff. And we could have gone another 30 with JJ, you know, because he's in the building and he's asking a lot of the tough questions, and, you know, it's good stuff. You know, that's what makes our show so awesome. You know, our ability to get people who are in the room, people who are asking the questions, talking to the coaches, because you know, they can give us the, you know, the feel, you know, of what's being said. So I'm looking forward to Sunday's game. That nose tackle, Ivan. How many times did I tell you that nose tackle? You don't have that middle secured, you are screwed.
And I wanted to say something to Joseph's question, which was a good question about whether they should just attack with 4 or you know, try to mix in a blitz. And I'm just thinking, like, you know, attack it with 4. It sounds all, you know, well with Philip Rivers, but that offensive line is really, really, really good for the Colts. And this Bears defense with 4, you know, we've seen them generate pressure, but it's been late, it's been spotty. And I'm just not sure. I think you need a balance, of course, but it's going to come down to, like you said, when you blitz Philip Rivers, when you blitz him, and if you get there, if you hit home on Philip Rivers, that's how you could be most effective. But as far as just straight 4, I think he could beat you with this offensive line.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to do it. And I know he had said 5. Hell, I'm sending 6.
Yeah.
You know, they send me a corner for 7 every once in a while. I think, you know, the good thing is that he is getting up in age, so he doesn't have mobility. Not that he was ever a mobile quarterback, but I think you got to make this guy move his feet like you do any other quarterback. And sometimes you got to put your pressure on your cornerbacks and say, yo, I need you to lock down here. You know, you can't do a whole game like it, but, you know, you definitely gotta pick your spots. But I think you gotta try to give him some different looks. And that has been our one kind of complaint against Pagano, is that he hadn't really been aggressive, Shawn, with some of his blitz packages. And I think this week is going to be a week. You got to start bringing some pressure, man. You should have all your horses in there defensively. I don't think we have any injuries on defense that I'm aware of to a key player. So, you know, let's air it out a little bit. You know, you're 3-0. You can afford to take a loss.
Those running backs scare me though, Jason. Like they, especially because I want to generate pressure this week up the middle to get Phillip out of the pocket. You know, flush him left to right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just nervous with the running backs because you got Marlon Mack, who's a solid back, and then you got a Jonathan Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Who is it? Marlon Mack, or did Marlon Mack get hurt? I'm pretty sure Marlon Mack. Yeah, it was
bell cow now.
Yeah, but who's their third string? They had
I don't know what the third guy is.
Well, either way, they had a good trio of running backs, and now if Jonathan Taylor, and I think he will be the bell cow, and he was going to be a good running back. Now you're thinking about running off tackle downhill, and the guy's running past them. You know what I'm saying? Or he's getting caught up. A linebacker getting caught up in the line, and Phillips doesn't have to really worry too much. And now we're getting gouged for yards. You know what I'm saying? On the edges, on the edges, right. And that's where Bilal comes in. That's where the pressure from that nose guard up the middle helps. But if we're not getting that, what I'm saying is if we're not getting that and we blitz, that's what's going to eat us up is those running backs on the edges going directly off tackle or just going right up the gut.
Yeah, but you can throw run blitzes in there because remember blitzes aren't all to stop the pass. There's run blitzes you can have, and you can tell by formation a lot of times, especially if it's a run situation, you could take a shot. And remember they stopped Saquon Barkley. Who was the team? God bless it. Who stopped Saquon Barkley? Because 11 of his 15 carries where he had only 6 yards at the end of the game, he got hit in the backfield. So you can send run blitzes there that won't necessarily affect it. You just better send it to the right spot because if you don't,
right. Well, I think you have to make sure that these guys. I'm not saying that Danny Trevathan and Roquan Smith are not. They're obviously professional football players, but I've seen the last couple of weeks Roquan get eaten up by that offensive line because he's too far. He's too close to the line. Or I've seen nobody pick up. People are too late. You know what I'm saying? People aren't hitting home. They're not in the right spot. And I don't know if that's because you didn't have a training camp, like we said. That you're getting acclimated to playing football again, or not. But we can't.
What's happening, bro?
Right. No, I understand. But you can't keep making that you can't keep using that.
It's not an excuse if that's what's happening. If your nose guard's getting blown up and he's not demanding a double team, and that's happening all day. Because if I'm calling plays and I'm handling that nose, my guards better be on those linebackers. You don't have to pancake them. You just got to get in their way. And that's what's happening. And whether it's you all call it an excuse or not, that's the fact of the matter is that he doesn't have enough weight in his ass to demand a double team. And when that happens, the teams are going to run on you because now linebackers get to the second level, the defensive ends get pushed out, and it's man-on-man blocking. And you give a running back with man-on-man blocking, and he has to worry about linebackers just to pick a hole. Man, you can get a guy from semi-pro to run it behind a situation like that any given time. So, well, hey, we got to take a quick break, and on the other side of the break is our last break of the show of the week. Man, we're gonna have more sports conversation. We're gonna talk a little baseball with Jason. We're gonna talk Cubs. Cubs play today. They have an elimination game today. They're looking to survive and play tomorrow. Ask Annie. She wants tomorrow. So we're gonna talk with Jason to see if they can what he thinks the Cubs need to do to get their season extended by a day, and then hopefully by another series. So don't go anywhere, folks. More sports conversation coming up right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. The Marlins and Cubs were rained out on Thursday. They'll square off this afternoon in Game 2. Miami leading the series 1-0. Yu Darvish gets the nod. The Cubs with their backs against the wall in the best of 3. The season's come to an end for the White Sox.
Pinder hits a drive in. It's going to be into left field for a base hit. One run is in. Second run around third. The throw to the plate in the slide and not in time. Listella scores.
A's radio at the call. 6-4 the final on Thursday. Oakland wins the series 2-1. Bears wide receiver Allen Robinson told ESPN that he trusts the coaching staff to make the right decisions. This following the news that Nick Foles takes over as starting quarterback.
For us, we believe in Coach Nagy. We always have. So whatever decision he make, as a team, we support it. We're gonna rock with it.
Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so when you call 8338-ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. TGI Mickey Friday, baby. Woo, Charlie, what you got on the docket for this weekend, Jay?
I actually don't know, because my wife is planning it all because it's my birthday weekend. Yeah. And I got one of the milestone birthdays, Shawn. So I'm hitting the big 5-0 on Monday. So the wife has been secretly planning my weekend for me. I was only told types of outfits to bring with me, and we're leaving to somewhere tomorrow that I don't know about. So I'm looking forward to whatever happens. Those are my plans for the weekend.
Dude, good stuff. Congratulations on the big 5-0.
Yeah.
That's me next year. I'm planning a big party. I got to figure out where I'm going to have it. That's dude, that's good, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, I had a big thing planned out she was doing too, and then COVID hit.
Thanks, COVID.
Right. COVID's destroyed all my friends' 50-year celebrations this year. So I think we're just going to all do 51. Thank you, Armando.
Hey, we're going to have a big party at 50-51. You know what I mean? It's,
Right.
or 50+1.
There you go. That's
or the first anniversary of your 50th birthday. How's that?
There you go. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Let's switch gears for a quick second. The Sixers, the Philadelphia 76ers they came, they saw, they signed, they got their guy, Doc Rivers. Dude, what was he out of work for like 20 minutes?
Right.
Gets fired on Monday. Or they part ways. They mutually part ways on Monday, and he signed on Thursday. Man, so your thoughts now on Philadelphia? Moving forward with Doc Rivers.
I hope Doc can handle that situation out there in Philadelphia. I mean, I don't think he can solve two players who just don't get along. And when you got your two main stars who are going at it like that, I think Doc is a great guy, but I don't know if he can make these guys, be able to work together. I think the Philadelphia GM is going to have to do a little bit more work there. I think he needs to change the chemistry of that team a little bit. I think they've got the talent, but I think that chemistry is off there. I'm very happy to see that Doc got a job right away, though, and that he wasn't just out there, twiddling his thumbs waiting for somebody to contact him. So props to Philly for saying, there's our guy. Let's go get him. And they went out and did it. So I'm very happy for Doc. Of course, he's a Chicago guy. He's a cousin of my cousin, Lance Irvin. So very happy for Doc.
That's your cousin?
Yeah, that's Lance's cousin. That's your
cousin?
Yeah, actually, Lance's mother and Doc grew up out there in Maywood kind of together. So, yeah, he's a friend of the family. So that's always good to know, man. I can give me some tickets, maybe.
Man, that's good stuff. So, yeah, I'm happy for Doc. Being a Chicago guy, Maywood. Was he
Proviso East?
East? Yeah, so he's a Pirate. He's a Pirate. Yeah, and man, that's good stuff. I met him a couple of times. Just a great guy.
Yeah,
just a great guy. So I'm happy for him. Happy that he's he wasn't unemployed very long. I didn't think he would be, but it's just glad it could come to fruition. And I think he's a quality coach. He is stepping into a little bit of a situation over there. And it's going to be tough, but you know what? Give him a shot. And definitely that's a situation where you would need a veteran NBA head coach. You really can't get a newbie, a first-time head coach in there because they would just be literally overwhelmed. And that would not be, because players are going to try to cuss at him. Like remember Jimmy Butler did to Hoiberg. Basically told him shut up. Like I'm surprised he didn't muffle. Like shut up. How much do I owe you for that fine? Shut up.
Right. Especially NBA players. I mean, they got a history of running coaches out of town, especially, Magic did it back in the 80s, for Christ's sake. So, that's basketball is that one sport where I think, the coaches got the least amount of relevance on the team, whereas I think football is exactly opposite, where the coaching is everything. So
yeah. Talk about the NBA Finals, man. The Lakers lead 1-0. They blew out the Heat 116-98 the other day in Game 2 tonight, 8 o'clock. And the Miami Heat, after getting blown out by 18 points, are not going to have a few of their stars, and that's huge. Bam, 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 bam. Oh, bang, bang, bang. Sorry. Bam Adebayo is not going to be out, or is not going to be playing. Goran Dragic is another one he's not. Those two are out, and Jimmy Butler's got a sore ankle. Is this Lakers 4? Lakers in 4?
This is Lakers in 4, and I didn't want to see that. I like Jimmy Butler. I wanted to see him get his. I wanted to at least be competitive. But after I saw what the Lakers did in Game 1, and then I realized who he did not go have in Game 2, like, well, I got something else to do with my Friday night.
Might as well go watch the Cubs. What the hell?
Yeah, well, the Cubs have won, so I'll have to. I guess I'll do some pre-birthday shenanigans or something, because that ain't gonna be no game tonight, man.
Yeah, it's not going to be pretty at all. And I do feel bad for Jimmy. I was a big, I've liked Jimmy, and I don't know if it was the conversation with you, but it was with, I know I had the conversation. Like, if you notice, Jimmy never stayed where there was any BS going on.
Yeah, we did talk about that. Yeah,
and he finally got down to South Beach, and because the situation in Minnesota was crazy, because you had just young Jimmy was not a superstar coming out of college. Okay. Jimmy worked his ass off, being a defensive stopper to getting an offensive game, to honing his offensive game, to fine-tuning his offensive game to become a superstar. All right. So he's all about that work. And you get guys who are uber talented like Mitchell and Cat up there, Karl Anthony Towns, and they're not putting in the work. And and that's why he called him soft. He had to call him out. And then so they're like, okay, he's too tough for these kids. They're going to go cry and call mom. So then they shipped to the Philly, and then the same thing. He's like, these two guys, like, you got all the talent in the world, Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. Like, you need to be, making more noise than you are. And he got sent out of there. And he finally found a spot, where Pat Riley took him in. And my goodness, you know what? I always love Jimmy Butler.
Me too, man.
From his time here. And I just wish him the best. And it's unfortunate that he's in the finals. He got this far, and then now you got two of your main weapons who you're going in severely, severely underhanded.
What's that position that the Bulls are lacking at? Small forward?
Well, small forward, shooting guard, center, you name it. But yeah.
It's just I always felt like Jimmy. After Thibs left, I felt like a part of Jimmy left too.
Yeah, I think he checked out. out.
Right.
Yeah, that's why he told the mayor to go F himself. Not literally, but for all intents and purposes, he told him to go F himself. Like, get your ass out of here. Like, you're like about an hour older than me. Get out.
Right. Yeah. The Bulls should be fun now. We got a real legitimate coach, and they got some talent. So I'm actually kind of somewhat looking forward to seeing them. Don't know when the season will start, but
I am too, Jay. And the reason being is, you look at Billy Donovan, what he did at Florida, and he took a whole bunch of very talented players and made the sum much greater than the parts. Because let's keep it real. There's no one you would build a franchise or a program around in college that was on that Florida team. You don't build a program around Joakim. Okay. You don't build a program around Tito Horford. Okay. You don't build a program around Corey Brewer. Okay. But these guys playing together, man, back-to-back national championships. So these are young kids. So he's got a really young squad. And if he can get the sum greater than the parts, and we have some pretty good parts, let's not get it twisted. If he can get the sum to be greater than the parts, man, this Bulls team can be, middle to, I'd say, the high part of the middle of the Eastern Conference, maybe even the bottom of the top of the middle of the Eastern Conference. You know what I mean? Because of the fact that the East isn't very strong and the Bulls are very talented, and you just got to believe in themselves, and they just have to play more as a team. I think Billy Donovan's the guy who could bring that out of them and raise their level of play.
Yeah, you know, and I'm interested to see who the Bulls are going to get in the draft as well. I think, you know, this 2020 is so doggone weird. It's like you forget, oh, we haven't drafted yet. You know, usually the draft is in June. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see who they get in the draft to add on and be a piece. It'll be interesting to see if they try to make to move some players. I'm really interested to see what Giannis does up here in Milwaukee, because he doesn't want to be here. And I don't think he's going to re-sign with them even if they offer him the max. So Milwaukee may be looking to move him. And if they're looking to move him, man, you got to throw whatever you can out and try to get him, because I think the Bulls are missing. You're missing a superstar, which you're going to need if you're going to win a ship. And I think you would have enough pieces maybe to flow in around Giannis. I think you can make a trade, not give up enough of the pieces that he would need to win. And again, you still got a draft pick out there. So, you know, I'm looking forward to see what the Bulls do. I think, you know, we were all kind of like, just get rid of the coach and let's see what this team can do. And now we got that wish on basketball. Now, if I can get Reinsdorf's other team to do that, maybe we're working with something.
That's messed up. Oh, man. So what do you think? Do you think they got what would you trade? Would you trade that draft pick? Because you think this core, if you could trade a draft pick and one or two guys, you know, for Giannis, would you do it? And who do you think they would take? Who do you think they would demand? Kobe White, Zach LaVine. Who do you think they would demand?
I think they would definitely demand Kobe White because he's, you know, still under a rookie contract and he's got a huge upside. And you may have to throw in another piece. Now, if I'm going to give him Kobe White, I'm not giving him Marketing or LaVine with him.
Right.
But, you know, maybe Wendell Carter Jr. I'd throw in, and possibly a draft pick, because here's the thing now with the NBA, man. You know, the draft ain't as deep as it used to be.
No.
I mean, first of all, they only got 2 rounds. Remember back in the day, man, we were kids, NBA draft had 5-6 rounds.
Yeah.
Now they got 2 stinking rounds, and now it's gotten to the point where really, if you're not a lottery pick, it's kind of –
no one even knows who you are.
Right. Nobody even knows who you are. So, you know, I think we know where they're picking, right? They're like 7th? Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, you probably still gonna get a quality player at 7. So, I mean, it would be a heavy price to pay. But again, man, you need that superstar, man. Sometimes you get those once in a generational kind of players. I mean, this guy is a back-to-back MVP. You know, I think you got to go get Giannis if he's going to be available. Now, you know, if he's not going to be available, then, you know, you look for other ways. But, yeah, I'd give up Kobe White and maybe a Wendell Carter and possibly.
I'm sorry, Jason. I misspoke. It's 4. We're picking 4th.
Oh, it's 4. Oh, that's even better.
Yeah, that's even better. So that's a higher draft pick. So you may not have to give up as much.
Right.
Because I'd love to keep Kobe White if we could.
Yeah.
Because I really like that backcourt. I like Kobe White. Once they learn to coexist with each other, I like that backcourt, LaVine and Kobe White, because they're interchangeable. Literally 6'5", 6'6". You know, they're interchangeable. 1 and 2, 2 and 1. It doesn't really matter. And I love the way that they push the ball up and down the court. Zach loves to get up and run the court so he can shoot a 3, a fast break 3. And Kobe's like, you know, Kobe takes the approach. You know, I'll take my points in volume. So I'll take a whole bunch of more 2s because I'm going to get by you and then spin you around, put you in the spin cycle, lay it up off the glass, get you dizzy running up and down the court and tired. And I'll just keep hitting these layups, boom, 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 back and forth because you get tired, man. You get tired chasing a joker like Kobe White up and down the court.
I mean, the only thing about basketball that I always think about, Ivan, is that guards come a dime a dozen. And that you need that length, and Giannis is a big man with length with a whole lot of skills too. And I think we're seeing that in this Lakers-Houston series. The Lakers just too big for Houston, Miami. I think you're seeing the Lakers are too big for these Heat players, especially now with the injuries that they're suffering. You know, and I'm kind of happy to see that the big man is starting to become more relevant in NBA.
Yes.
I've missed that. I've missed the post game for Christ's sake. I'm like, man, what
about it? Give me a
game?
drop step,
Right.
give me a bank step, little elbow hook, and boom.
Right.
It seems like when you find it, because they always it's like a rotation. You know what I'm saying? Like it just seems like at a certain point when it changes, when a certain position starts to lack. You know what I'm saying? When it starts to go by the wayside, it's usually because it's flooded. Like the league is flooded with them. So you got a bunch of guys that don't really necessarily have a special skill set. They all got the same skill set. So I think it makes it dull. But yeah, like you said, if you don't got the size with the Lakers, it's kind of hard to compete with them up front. And I mean, everybody's kind of figured that out so far.
Yeah, I think the NBA a lot of ways is turned into the European game, and I'm like, when did this happen? I don't want to see every 7-footer shooting threes. But I don't mind you having some guys who can do that, but give me a banger down low, baby. Give me somebody when I need a bucket, I can go to them down low. They go either get a bucket or they go into the foul line. That's what I want.
One, yes.
Right.
I think Wendell Carter could be that guy if he got some. If he got a chip, if he got a nasty side, I think Wendell Carter could be that guy. He's big, he's big and wide enough to do it, and he seems like he wants to be great. You know what I'm saying? You always have to have a will, and if you put in the work, who knows what the player could be. But if Wendell could get an edge to him, I think Wendell could be that guy.
And marketing, Jim Boylan did try to turn him into a 3-point shooter exclusively. I'm like, what is the Brad Sellers theory we doing? What's going on here? So, I do think Billy Donovan is going to help market him more than anybody else on that team, to be honest. Because I think he's going to put him in a position to succeed.
Yeah, and he's gonna put him back down because the thing about marketing, he's so flexible. So you get a guy on him, a bigger guy, he'll just pull you out, shoot over you or go by you. If you get a smaller guy in him, then he's parking his ass down on the post and like ball. you know that when there's a switch and all of a sudden you got your little ball, and that's it. You're yelling, like there's a mismatch because Larry Marketing is able to do everything. He can beat you off the dribble. He can post you up. He can shoot your eye out. On a consistent basis behind the 3-point line. So he is one of those. He's a poor man's Dirk or the new edition of Dirk in his skill set. So that's one thing, and we got to get him back on track because if we do, this Bulls team is going to be super super exciting. I mean, just think about we talked about this about a year ago. Think of running the floor. Wendell Carter getting blocking a shot or getting the ball, and you got Kobe White pushing it up. You got Zach LaVine on one side. You got Larry Marketing trailing and whoever, because I don't know if they're going to keep Otto Porter, but even back then, and then you got a 3-point shooter going to the corner. Like, what do you do? Do you stop the ball and have it go to the corner for a 3, or do you cover the 3 and have it Kobe White drive all the way? You know what I mean? Like, there's so much talent and athleticism now on this Bulls team. It's going to be fun watching with this new coach. Yeah.
This is the first time I've felt excited about the Bulls since Derek. Since the first time Derek went down and came back, that's the last time I remember actually being excited about the Bulls.
I mean, think about it, guys. I'm excited about 2021. I mean, we're all ready to just get 2020 the hell up out of here. But 2021. If you really think about the Chicago sports scene overall, what we're working with, you got the White Sox on the upside. You got the Blackhawks if they can get a defenseman and their young players improve. You've got the Bears. We've now got a legit quarterback. Looking like we're going to be doing something. We got the Bulls. We got a new coach. We got talent. I'm not sure what we can think of about your Cubs, Ivan. I'm a little nervous about them now. But this could be exciting times for us in Chicago sports.
I hope so. About the Cubs, before we go, it's just like I'm hearing and I'm like I believe that they're going to win today. Okay. I do. I think Hugh's going to put all those deep past playoff demons away. I think they're going to win. But the thing is that I don't know how far you could go if you have a offensive you hit one home run and that was it. You can't expect this. You can't expect to win 1-0. You got to put up some runs. And they haven't put up runs in the playoffs for a little bit the last couple games. And I don't know if I don't know if it continues. They need to break out of a funk. And I think switching up the lineup, dropping dropping your big names like Bryant and Baez down in the order. I think that might be. I mean, that's a start. I'll say that. That's a start. Let's see if it works out for him.
Listen, guys, 3 hours is come and gone. Unbelievable. I want to thank our guest, Joseph Phillips. He sits in with us every day, or every show, 9 to 10. And want to thank Ken Davis as well. Want to thank Matt Zawoski, Southside Zoe himself, calling in, talking to the White Sox baseball with us. You see our man Jason Palmer here. Want to thank him as well. Thank JJ Stankovich from NBC Sports Chicago for calling in, talking a little Bears football. And I would be remiss if I didn't. Whoa.
What happened?
I don't know.
I'm here.
I'm here. What was going on?
Oh, I'm here too. I don't know what the heck happened. I'd be remiss if I didn't say what's up to our man behind the curtain, the man who makes it all run every show. Ivan Vargas, man. Thank you guys. All you guys made it a phenomenal show. Another great show, another great week. And I'm looking forward to this weekend. Checking out the Cubs today, see how they do, if they can force a game 3, a deciding game 3 tomorrow. The Cubs Nation will be happy. Then on Sunday, I'm really excited to see our Bears. So it's going to be a good weekend, all in all. Well, listen, we will see you.
Hey, don't forget to check out Jason, the Red Line show right after the Cubs game.
Check out Jason's show right after the Cubs game, and then don't forget to check out Ivan and Mike Halatek's show. Yep. The Barely pregame show. Check it out on SportsZone Chicago. Check those live shows out. Exactly what it is you want pregame. And right before that, they have the fantasy show. Mm-hmm. So if you're last minute fantasy, something happens to your guy, you need to switch. Check out the fantasy show we have at 10 o'clock on Sunday to get your last minute picks in. So for my co-host in absentia, Maya Kai, for Jason Palmer, and for my Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife himself, Ivan Vargas.
I hope these guys do this. I hope they win. So I couldn't bear going in on Monday's show and talking Cubs after a sweep by the Marlins. I couldn't. I hope they win today.
I'm your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra. We'll see you in about 69 hours or so. Until then, same bad time, same bad channel, 9 a.m. to noon, Central Standard Time. Guys, have a great weekend. Jay, have a good 50th birthday weekend.
Happy birthday, Jason.
Thank you.
We out.